How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. I am Tim Poole.
And I'm Adam Krigler. What up? How you guys doing?
And we're also joined by...
The Invisible Lady.
The Invisible Lydia of Whiterun.
Yes.
Boy, do I have good news for everybody. And you can tell by the title of this stream. Guess what we are going to talk about today? Celebrity gossip.
Yay, celebrity gossip.
It's actually...
Woo!
It's you know, okay, man. As long as it's not the apocalypse... I'm kind of happy because there was this period where it was like every day we'd sit down and be like, what's in the news today?
Coronavirus.
Somebody. So I don't know if you guys have heard Bernie Sanders quit.
Yep.
And somebody tweeted something. They were like, I would like to thank Bernie Sanders for giving us something other than coronavirus to talk about.
Yeah.
And I was like, here. Because like the top 4 national trends were like 1 million tweets about Bernie and Biden.
And we're not even going to talk about that.
Oh, no, we're not. No way.
way.
No, not interested. No, we're gonna have a more fun time. A bunch of it's woke Twitter,
Yeah.
and they're just tearing Ellen DeGeneres apart because she made a stupid joke about how being locked down is like being in jail.
Yeah.
And it's like part of me is like, oh, it's a bit insensitive, you know, like maybe. And then I'm like,
You're like, oh, wait a minute. I made that joke.
I made that joke yesterday,
Yeah.
and I just don't care.
Yeah.
And then like we were sitting here, and I was like, you know what's really happening? Ellen made a joke. These woke Twitter people are pretending to be angry about it because they're bored, and we're pretending to be angry that they're angry because we're bored too. And that's just how the internet works.
Yep.
For real, dude. So much of every kind of political content is people pretending to be mad about something.
That's so true.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm angry. Well, why are you angry? Well, someone out there somewhere might be angry. That's why I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wait, what?
But so like all of this anti-Trump stuff. So one of the funny things I was talking about earlier today was that Snopes actually fact-checked the New York Times as false. It's not kind of the New York Times, but a bunch of articles like the Huffington Post were like, Donald Trump owns a stake in the company that makes the coronavirus treatment he's been pushing. And
That's
it's
what you're
like,
talking about.
he doesn't. It's just not true. Snopes actually fact-checked him. But it's because
That's great.
they need to pretend to be angry. How insane, man. When you actually get fact-checked by Snopes and they're like being honest, that must have been really bad.
Snopes is like, all right, guys, we're going to actually do some work today.
They didn't want to. You know, they were like, don't make me do it, boss.
How can we put ice cream into this somehow?
It's like,
let's use it.
The boss walks up to the staff and he's like, I hate to have to do this to you guys, but
You're going to have to work.
you're going to have to fact check the New York Times. No, not the New York Times. Don't make me do it. And then like
They
somebody,
pay our bills. No, I don't know.
somebody
That's true.
writes it and the boss is like sent the draft. And he's got his finger over the enter key to like submit. He's like, I can't do it. And then like
Someone else comes and pushes the hand down.
his secretary, she's like,
got
be a
this.
man. And she pushes his hand. It's enter. New York Times fake news. The story was so insanely fake. They had no choice.
Yep.
That's how insane it was. Very insane. Well, today we got a couple stories for you. We got some fun science stuff. We got how to be a man.
Yeah.
We got,
How to be a
testosterone
man.
makes men more honest. And there is a real tough man versus a fake tough man.
Yep.
And we got I think we got some stuff. Oh yeah, no one's paying rent. This is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's people paying rent, but there's a good chunk that
Yeah, a
are
third.
just not paying rent.
A third of people just didn't pay rent.
That's not really
So-
surprising, though.
We will break down for you how many of them are just communists and how many of them actually just lost their jobs and are in serious trouble and need help.
Yeah.
You know? So as always, you can hop in the super chat if you'd like us to read your comments. Make sure you hit the like button, hit
Yep.
the subscribe button, hit the notification bell,
And share it.
follow our social
Yes.
media accounts.
Oh, hold on.
And
There you go.
share.
There's so
Oh,
much
there you go.
work you have to do. You have homework when you watch this show. The most important thing is to go and tell all your friends how cool I am.
Yes, thank you all for hitting me up with awesome ideas. You guys are great, and keep up the good work. And
Yeah, so,
there's- oh, it's over here
No,
now.
I moved it. Haha.
There's my handle. Hit me up on Twitter, and that's the best way to send me ideas.
There you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, on Twitter,
Appreciate ya.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, let's
You
talk
guys are great.
about Miss Ellen DeGeneres. The poor multimillionaire TV celebrity who is stuck in her mansion while the help cleans her windows. So she's getting ripped apart by woke Twitter. And it's kind of woke Twitter. It's not the wokest of Twitter. It's just the blue checky journalist types that are
Totally.
piling on.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? They're piranhas. There was blood in the water.
Yeah, none of them actually care about Ellen at
No,
all.
no.
They're making fun jokes. They're like, oh, I can make some funny joke. And they're like, well, do you really care about Ellen? No, but I can make funny jokes out of it, though.
It's like-
that's what we're seeing.
It's like a mob. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a mob of people running through the street screaming, and one person does something, and then everyone else wants to be a part of it, so they jump in. No one really knows why they're angry, but
Yeah.
hey, man, it's fun to be a part of the crowd, right?
It's true.
So
Yeah.
here's what we've got an excellent source for you today. Our source today is Cosmopolitan Magazine, the bastion of great journalism.
Yes.
And here's what they wrote. Since it's incredibly unsafe to go outside, if you're not an essential worker these days, many celebrities have been social distancing in their gigantic homes while slowly unraveling. We saw it happen with Gal Gadot and her celebrity friends who decided to sing Imagine instead of donating some of their millions. We saw it happen when Vanessa Hudgens went on Instagram Live and said deaths related to COVID were inevitable. And we're seeing it again with Ellen DeGeneres. As part of her new temporary Ellen show setup, Ellen sat in her living room in front of a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking lush greenery. After giving some words of encouragement to her fans, Ellen then compared her new normal to being in jail. She first joked, "Today I am filming this in my living room because it has the best light and sound, and all the other rooms in my house are filled with toilet paper." Then she added, "This is like being in jail, mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone here is gay." There is so much wrong with that joke from a woke perspective.
That's true.
First of all, wearing the same clothes is the least of the issue of being in jail.
Right.
But also saying everyone is gay. Wow, that's bold to make a rape joke about our prison system.
It's true.
No wonder she's getting torn up a bit.
Yeah, it's different than I expected it to be. I actually didn't hear the whole thing.
Yeah, the people there aren't gay by choice in many of those circumstances.
Yeah.
So
or they're not gay at all, and
right,
things just happen
yeah, dude,
that they have no say in.
Not funny, but you know what? I'm not somebody who gets bent out of shape because someone said a joke I don't find funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I get what she was going for. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I've got bills to pay. I'm not going to cry about this. Well, apparently there are people who will cry about it, and we all expect it as much. Obviously, this is a tone-deaf comment to make anytime, but it's especially grating now as inmates have an increased risk of catching coronavirus and feel like sitting ducks. One man at a facility in Louisiana even told NPR, "They have not done anything to isolate anybody in here at all. People are still coughing every night, man. There are a bunch of sickly people in this camp. I just pray something happens soon." Surely that's not what's happening in whichever mansion Ellen decided to social distance and film her daily talk show in. Just a hunch. Predictably, after people watched this segment, they dragged Ellen for the comparison, making this one of the many times in recent memory that people were not laughing along with her. They say, remember the Dakota Johnson interview and when she hung out with George W. Bush? One Variety writer, oh, here comes woke Twitter, Carolyn Frampke tweeted, "What a great look for Ellen as thousands of people sit in actual jail cells just hoping for the best without soap and basic protection." Others said, "Ellen really is the worst and people are dying. I'm afraid to leave my house every day, but I have to. But okay, go off, Ellen. Social isolation is bad, stressful, and causes increased depression and anxiety, but it ain't jail." I mean, there are so many tweets about this. Some of the tweets are actually
So
pretty
many.
funny.
I know,
This one,
it's
I
true.
love this one. Look at Reductress said, "It's sort of like being in prison," says woman eating yogurt in bed who also has voting rights. So I don't care if Ellen makes a stupid joke.
It is kind of telling though when you see that other video, that you found.
Oh yeah.
And that's-
But you want to go straight to the darkness?
I mean, it just touched on that though. It
All right.
just was talking about exactly that. It's
We're
like
gonna go straight for the darkness.
Yeah, straight into it.
All
Man.
right.
It's fitting. Look at this.
I'm actually gonna play this video because it's kind of brutal.
It
but-
is pretty brutal. It's true. I mean, they have masks, but
but they're not.
they're
not
right next to each other.
Yep, crammed in rooms. So there's this video that's gone viral, and we got to be careful because we've seen viral videos in the past. Just because it's viral doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
also
but
a
it's
good point.
purportedly of a dude in jail, and one dude's wheezing because he's got COVID, and the dude filming's like, "What are we supposed to do? This dude's literally dying right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing."
Yeah.
And he's like, he's just sitting right here. Like,
I can't go anywhere.
yeah, he's like,
Right.
we can't even social distance. Meanwhile, you got Ellen chilling in her mansion, like, "Oh man, I'm in jail, hee hee." So here's the funny thing: the people are dying quote.
Right.
You know what, man? I hear you. People are dying.
Yeah,
But they've said that about literally everything. It's like
it's true.
you walk outside and like some kid drops a glass of milk and they're like, "People are dying." And you're like, "It's spilled milk, dude." To use a silly analogy, but they literally cry about everything.
Yeah, food, like the biscuit. I didn't finish eating the biscuit. There's starving people out
No,
there
but
dying.
Yeah.
people are dying as a quote is used in every single social justice protest. So
Yeah, you're right.
if you say something like, I believe in free speech, they'll go, people are dying. And you're like, I have
Yes.
no idea what that has to do with like Louis C.K. making an offensive joke. I'm
Right.
sorry. I don't understand. But that's what they say. So now it's funny because one of the things we've talked about is how the social justice activists kind of have no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their vanity politics, nobody cares now that
Nobody
people
really-
are dying.
Yep, exactly.
But now they're like, people are dying. And it's like, well, this time you're right. All right. Well, those other times
You
don't
got
count.
me now.
Yeah, this time. That's why it's funny. I think it's funny that we're reading like woke Twitter and Cosmo making fun of Ellen, and we're all like enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like something interesting, like something amazing is happening. Alyssa Milano came out, and she sides with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And then both sides of the culture war come together in harmony, holding hands to make fun of Alyssa Milano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you get Bernie Sanders dropping out today. And then you get the Trump supporters and the Bernie Sanders supporters like holding hands, like in harmony, like ragging on the Democratic establishment.
It's weird. I said it like a month and a half ago when this whole thing started happening. Like, is this going to be our space race? Like, that's going to bring everyone together.
Yes.
And it really does feel that way. Like,
Yeah, man.
we're all coming together, like realizing celebrities aren't really that special. What's really special is the people that are they're not going out and working by choice. They have no choice. They have to go work. It's like we're all calling them heroes, but they have no choice. It's like they're risking their lives to be out in, the countless different things that they're doing,
I can only think of the Lord of the Rings meme.
Which one?
Gimli, he looks at
Legolas.
Legolas and he's like, I never thought I'd die fighting beside an elf.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I never thought I'd laugh at jokes by woke Twitter making fun of, a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Side by side. So they just show a bunch of tweets. But I got to be honest. It's just people trying to get on the bandwagon. Does anybody really care that Ellen made a stupid joke?
No, it has nothing to do with Ellen.
Right.
It's like, I can make a funny joke and people will spread it around
Exactly.
and I'll get some hits and
It's
I'll
like,
get some
"Ooh,
likes.
I want to
and
play. I want to play. And,
Yeah,
and
that's
they,
what it
they,
is.
They tweet it.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody just like quoted it. Some of it's just not even like, I'm angry about this. What is this? Yeah, Ellen might want to address this on her next YouTube video. Well, she deleted the video apparently.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I guess she took it down. That's what. Oh no, it's right here, isn't it? Is it up? Okay, it's up. I'm not gonna play that. I do not want to hear that
Thank you.
music.
Thank you.
Yeah, apparently some
Appreciate
people were
it.
saying it. Celebrities have been, for the most part, going insane.
Really
and
feels like
what
it,
is
huh?
this? Can we not? Are you gonna?
We can.
You're giving me the business?
Not,
Okay, I guess they
apparently.
kicked me out because I. What is this? Oh, I see what happened. They were like, "Why don't you?
Why don't you
subscribe?"
pay for this?
So we covered. I don't want to say we covered it.
Yeah.
But we made fun of celebrities quite a bit. A couple weeks ago.
It's fun.
And everyone seems to be in on it. And it's
Yep.
kind of a cool thing, like, hey, let's make fun of these people. It's cool because we used to just needlessly prop them up. Everybody wanted to know who they were, what they were wearing, where they took poops, and like, you know what I mean? Like people would like hide in bushes, take pictures of them. Now everyone's just making fun of them. So as much as like the Ellen DeGeneres thing is a bunch of people who just don't actually care about Ellen, but they want
Right.
to be a part of the crowd. I kind of dig it.
You know what? I feel like there's one celeb that might be above this.
Ryan Reynolds,
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Murray can just do whatever he wants. Like
There's a handful.
Yeah, there's a few.
I don't know. I feel like Bill Murray he's kind of like the craziest one
Yeah.
of them all that can just pop into your party and be like, "Hey, what up?"
If Bill Murray,
He's not gonna lose it though. I feel like he lost it
No,
long ago.
if Bill Murray made a video
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "Hey everybody, Bill Murray here. I hope you're all staying safe. Just want to make sure you're doing all right and you're staying home. Have a good one." Then people would be like, "Whoa, what happened to this guy? Oh my God!"
Wait,
Well,
Bill Murray's normal?
Yeah,
He's
like
a normal
supposed
celeb?
to be saying something crazy. He's like, kind of like a Ryan Reynolds kind of character.
Yeah,
Or
that's
Ryan
true.
Reynolds is kind of like Bill Murray.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not going to read through this article, but it's just funny because New York, this is the cut from New York Mag. The celebs are losing it. I saw this and I said to myself, I read this article 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They keep losing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
But
consistently
this
losing
just
it.
came out like 6 days
Yeah, it's
ago.
like a week ago. And then we have this one's funny from The Spectator. Why we love to hate celebrities.
Tell us.
One World Together at Home is a weirdly complacent name. And this is just, again, It's not that I care to like read the opinion pieces about celebrities.
Yeah.
But I noticed there was something unifying all of us. We used to be unified by knowing these celebrities and talking about them. Now we're unified in our hatred of them.
Our
like
love/hatred.
Well, you know what's interesting is
Right.
I heard that Bollywood
Yeah.
in India. So like for those that don't know, it's like India's Hollywood. I heard that in India they're looked down upon, whereas in like the United States celebrities are like looked up to.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
I
didn't
don't know if that's true.
Oh, okay.
People have said to me that like in India they don't consider it to be like a high class kind of thing. Where in
Yeah.
America they're celebrities, they're like the rich and the wealthy and the famous, and everyone wants to be like them and all that stuff. Now we're just making fun of them all. That's kind of a cool thing because if we can discourage people from trying to be like these awful people, then
and be more like doctors.
yeah,
and
or
nurses and-
or grocery store food stockers.
Well, no, I was talking about like, I mean, sure, yeah, that's a necessity right now, but that back in the day it was more like you aspire to be like a doctor or the president or an astronaut.
Yep.
Or a scientist that discovers
well.
life on another planet.
Right.
You know what kids want to be today?
Celebrities.
Kind of. You're close. It's more
Worse.
specific.
Influencers.
Even closer. You're getting warm.
What is it?
You want the answer?
Yeah, just tell me.
YouTuber.
Oh, really?
Yep. I mean, it might have.
Okay.
So this was, I think last year they did a survey, like, what do you want to be when you're an adult?
Yeah.
And like the biggest group said YouTuber, like YouTube famous. And then there was, I would imagine today it's like TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, but you guys want to hear a funny story? Because you weren't around for this.
Sure.
When I first moved to this house,
Okay.
I'm like, it's kind of empty, and there's a knock on the door. And I walk up to the door and I open it, and there's a bunch of like 14-year-old girls standing on my porch with their arms crossed, like, looking all, I don't know, sassy
Girl.
14-year-old girl
Yeah.
like. And then one girl's like, she looks at me and she goes, "Are you a famous YouTuber?" And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "My mom says you're a famous YouTuber." And I laughed and I was like, "I don't know." And she goes, "I bet you're rich." And I laughed. I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then the other girl was like, "My dad said you're really rich." And I'm like, "Who? I just moved here. Who are you people?" Like,
Yeah, what?
Who's going around and saying all these things is not true? And I was like, "Your parents probably make way more than I do." And then they were like, I can't remember what they asked me, but I was like, "Is that all you wanted to know? Can I go back to like playing video games or not? I was playing Warcraft or something."
Oh,
And
man.
but I think the reason I don't know why they came here and did it. It was funny. I was like these weird little kids, but
You're a mini celebrity to them.
well, no, but here to me, I grew up in an era of YouTube, so
Right.
YouTube to me isn't special.
Okay.
It's interesting because I feel like we're always looking up to the people who came before us, and so to the person like, man, when you get to that point when you're in your 30s and you're like you are the head of your your office or something.
Okay.
Like, let's say you're no longer the apprentice. You've now taken over the principal, task at your company. Maybe you've become like the chief chef or whatever. To you, it's just normal. It's like, I've been here for a long time and now I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
But other people come in, they look at you and you're like, you're the man, you're the boss.
Right.
So for me, it's like, I'm just a guy who started filming myself and I don't know anything about YouTube. But these younger people see YouTubers and they're like rock stars.
Yeah, you saw YouTube. You were there when there was no YouTube.
Yeah.
So now and you've seen it and you've grown with it.
But for me,
see it.
it's still like, it reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Homer wanted to be an inventor.
Okay.
And then he made that, he's like, he was obsessed with Thomas Edison. So he made this little chart showing Edison and all the things he had invented by a certain time frame, and then him.
Okay.
And then when he finally went to Edison's like office museum or whatever, he saw the exact same thing where it said Da Vinci and Edison. And so he was like, wow, it's just like me. And it's like kind of a stupid thing because Edison was just like a businessman.
Right.
But that's kind of the idea. It's like these kids look at me on YouTube and they think like, oh, wow. And for me, I'm kind of like, I'm looking at TV anchors and like multi-millionaire, network hosts.
Who's the person you look up for?
Look up to?
Up to, yeah.
I wouldn't say I look up to anybody.
No? Okay.
I'd say like in terms of production quality and wealth and success, it would be like primetime cable news anchors or personalities.
But no one in particular.
No, I mean, I think one of the things that'll lead you to success is thinking everyone's a moron. So I think everybody on
funny.
TV is stupid.
Yeah,
like
well.
Ellen especially. But I mean,
Pretty sure she could take a joke.
No, I don't really think
Yeah.
she's stupid. She's obviously smart enough to be successful in everything she's done.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means she's avoided pitfalls and has been able to expand her company. In terms of like the news space, I think no one does it better than Joe Rogan, whether he, will publicly say it or not. He's the highest. He does shows where he interviews smart scientists and stuff, and it's like the biggest podcast in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
I look at the cable TV people, and I do think it's fascinating that they have less influence. These were that's like the old guard. It's kind of fading away and dying out. So anyway, that's kind of the point. Whether it matters or not. As for the celebrities, I'm actually excited that the old traditional TV style stuff is burning out.
And they're trying to be YouTube stars.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're trying to dive into YouTube, and
Now they come
it's
to
like
our party?
not working.
Nope.
It's like, get out my house.
That's literally what Ellen was doing.
I know.
And it ended up blowing up in her face.
I mean, everyone's talking about Ellen
true.
right now, so it's like Alyssa Milano. Everyone's talking about Alyssa Milano, and it's
Yeah,
like
but-
maybe that's all she wanted was just people talking about her.
Maybe, but they're more sensitive to high-profile brands.
I don't
and how
think
they
that's
come off.
exactly what Ellen was doing, though.
She wasn't trying to get attention.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
She's just corny. And
Yeah, she's quirky, and honestly, it is kind of funny. And if you take out any of the
well, it is funny.
being offended part
Well,
of it,
no.
it's kind of funny. It's
I
like
like-
something George Carlin would say, and it's like, oh, well, that's what George Carlin would say.
But
He's
here-
like
listen.
that. It's like, well,
Her saying it's like being in jail, that's the joke. It's like ironic
Right.
that she's a wealthy individual in a mansion comparing it to jail. Like, that's literally the joke.
exactly.
Now that everyone here is gay, I thought was pretty brazen,
Well,
Yeah.
considering,
she's gay, so maybe that was part of the joke.
Right.
Well, and her wife
I'm
is
assuming,
also gay.
Yeah, and so I mean,
But I mean, talking about prisons and the people there don't go in like,
voluntarily gay.
she's look, I'm not going
Right.
to complain about a joke that's offensive. I'm the last person to. I'm the one who turns on the Count Dankula videos and laughs at them, and they're like as offensive as they possibly come. But you give the woke Twitterati an opportunity to pretend to be angry.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's really it. Nailed it.
Yeah. All right. So shall we just jump over and talk about the
Yeah.
rent stuff?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
So the next bit we got for you guys is actually on a more serious note. And I thought it was a good segue because we just talked about Ellen DeGeneres and her fancy mansion and the celebrities with all their glorious wealth.
Yeah.
And now we have the other side of things. The people who don't live in mansions, who live in cubicles in New York and can't afford to pay rent because most of them lost their jobs at some point in March. And now they're not paying them. And this is also interesting because over a week ago, we were talking about it, TikTok, the time bomb, when rent won't get paid
Right.
Yep.
and the ripple effect it'll have in the economy. So they're doing this thing with the CARES Act, the stimulus package, that all businesses can apply for like a 3-month loan that will cover your payroll. And then as long as it goes to payroll, you don't got to pay it back. So
That's
it's
dope.
basically a grant.
That's really cool.
It is, but I'm curious as to what the long-term effects are going to be.
Yeah.
Because
printing more money, right?
yeah,
Out of
just
thin air.
well, what you got to
Yeah.
understand too is there are a lot of businesses that don't need it.
Okay, that's a good point.
And it's going to cause inflation, will devalue currency, and you have some businesses that are desperate for it,
Yeah.
and it won't be enough because it's not just about payroll. It's like if you've got to buy product, you've got to move product. Oh, that's great. I can pay the staff, but how do I buy the thing to make them actually?
Right.
If like so let's say you have a company that makes birdhouses. It's like congratulations, you can pay the guy to make the birdhouse, but you can't pay for the wood.
Right.
Then you've got companies where it's like, I don't know, some dude on YouTube who complains about his feelings. And it's like, I just keep doing my thing and it's the same eligibility. So it's not perfect. But, it's curious. I guess the general idea is they want to give people money, but they don't want to break the economy. So it's like, you're not working, but we're giving you money, but through your job. So it's like,
Yeah.
one of the other big things apparently was that they're going to give everyone guaranteed unemployment if they lost their job, plus $600, thus incentivizing people to quit their jobs or leave their jobs.
Right, because you'll make more money that way.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, there was a
Right.
concern that people would ask their bosses to like lay them off so they could make more money. But the rent thing is interesting because I think we've got a mix of the photo they used is great.
Well, let's get into super chats so we can actually do this.
Do it.
Do the subject.
Well, we'll just okay.
Yeah, we were gonna do super chats. I thought
right.
so.
Hold
Well,
on a sec.
we'll jump into super chats.
Yeah, let's do that.
Over.
What up, everybody?
The 2A Vegan pressed F. Thanks for the super chat.
Heyo.
Justin O'Toole says, have you heard about players in Borderlands 3 being able to help scientists with research into microbes via a minigame? I think
No.
it's awesome. Thoughts?
What?
I didn't know anything about that. It seems awfully specific.
Yeah, but all right.
Yeah. right
Very
on.
cool. Interesting.
Mark Taylor says, Mr. President, the resident perpetual intellectual and political semen demon that gets me screaming. Wow. Yu says, Soy Jesus hearted my Twitter post thanking y'all. Well, there you go. Is that true? You did.
I must have.
All right. Brother says, Adam looks like a Bee Gee. Yes.
Okay.
Do you know the Bee Gees?
Yeah.
Yeah, Staying Alive. Kyle Buchanan says, hey, Tim, can you post a pic of your PC? Lydia, you are beautiful. Adam and Tim, I have never played Magic. Can you explain it to me? It is a trading card game where
Take it away.
you have a stack of cards, you draw them, and each of them has a special thing on it, and you do that. And then that's the game.
And you try to kill the other person.
Yes, but only in fantasy.
Yeah, and it doesn't ever cause arguments among friends.
No,
Oh, man.
Never.
I once watched...
That was a lie.
yeah.
I once watched two kids playing the Pokemon card game,
Okay.
and one kid picked up his Razor scooter and just smashed the other kid in the arm.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
People get into their games, yo.
So they were
Yeah, a
playing
little bit.
Pokemon card games a long time ago. It was when I was a teenager. And the one kid got mad. He's like, "You can't do that." And the other kid's like, "Yes, I can." And the other kid's like, "No, you can't." And they started yelling, and then the kid just picked up his Razor scooter. Was like, and whacked him with it.
See, a lot of these things, when I see people smashing their controllers or flipping the table, it says a lot more about the person than the game they're playing.
Oh, of course.
And it's not
you
really
Yeah.
any game is susceptible to getting the controller thrown.
Yeah.
It's all about the person holding it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew says MLB is considering opening season in Arizona. Cool. And I heard MMA bought a private island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they
they-
did buy it? I thought they were.
Oh, I don't know. Did they?
I knew they were looking for a private
Yeah.
island to host a fight every weekend.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Jack H, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank
Grizzly
you.
Jack says, if I make a Minecraft server that teaches kids Economy 101, would you advertise the server? I don't know anything about Minecraft, so I
Same.
would not know how to properly.
Same.
Yeah. Yu says, my local comic card store has an open drive-through. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
That's neat.
Midland
Yeah.
says, the closest feeling to the stay-at-home order for me is when I would stay on campus during fall spring break, no one around and peace and quiet. Mark Taylor says, Tim, I don't like videos because liked videos go into a playlist that I save for my favorite videos on YouTube. Well, then, there you go. Don't like it. Appreciate it anyway. Alex says, Joe Biden's new campaign slogan, vote for Joe and put the Dem back in dementia. Ooh, spicy.
That.
Zing.
The Price is Right review says, being respectfully honest, women like Alyssa Milano, does that mean? Amber Heard and Blasey Ford are why MGTOW exists. The saddest thing is thousands of women being influenced by these women, thus men do not trust most women as a result. And that's always a mistake to blanket over every person because you saw one bad person or even a handful of bad people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
but
true.
I get it though. I mean,
Yeah.
we got to break that cycle. Diego says Trump 2016, if you vote for me, I'll make America great again. Trump 2020, if you vote for me, I'll pardon Joe Exotic. Yeah, he did joke about it. It's not true. It's people of course are trying to pretend like he's actually going to pardon the guy.
Yeah. Nah.
Featherfall says if you had absolute power to change or add one law, what would it be? Mine would be to make lobbying punishable by life in prison. If you could make one law.
I like that a lot. Not punishable by prison, just make it illegal.
Term limits.
The lobbying thing would be a big difference. If they weren't like getting paid like crazy amounts of money to like influence their decision, like that's then the term limit thing I feel wouldn't be as big of a deal.
I wouldn't change anything.
You wouldn't change a thing.
I would change nothing.
I think lobbying doesn't make sense.
You would enact the law and then realize where the pitfall was after the fact and be like, shouldn't have done that.
Well, I'm also not a politician, so
Yeah.
I don't know the intricacies of what would happen.
I'm not gonna mess with the machine if I don't know what it's gonna do and where it's gonna end up.
I
Yeah.
thought you were going to get rid of hipster music for us.
What?
That was the promise.
What-
Yeah,
what are
the
you talking about?
Lumineers. That music
What?
that goes, hey, ho.
That was gonna. No one would ever be allowed to
no one's
say
ever allowed
hey
to
in
say it
music.
Again. Yeah.
No haze.
No more songs where they go hey.
Yes.
You know.
That's
Is
the
it
law.
just the Lumineers?
Yeah, well, no.
No. In all honesty, though, if I had the power to enforce any one law, it would be the permanent and complete banning of anise, cilantro, fennel, and caraway seeds, punishable by death, of course.
Yes.
On the spot,
Oh, yeah.
no questions. If you're
Just
fine with it.
lace them with anthrax.
Oh, we would do tons of stuff.
Oh, yeah, man.
So you know that the U.S. government I think this is an urban legend. I'm not sure if it's true. They like spiked alcohol during Prohibition.
Really?
Yeah, because they were like, we've spiked this. I think they spiked it with like menthol or something, or like wood alcohol.
Okay.
And people were drinking anyway and dying. Yeah, it could be an urban legend. I don't know if it's true.
Well,
Is it true?
Slate says it happened. A little
there you
told
go.
story of how the U.S. government poisoned alcohol during Prohibition.
What
Well,
about
there you go.
What law would you put in?
Me? I do like the term limits thing, and I like the lobbying thing. I think that they're really tied together. So
Yep, makes
those
sense.
two
Any
things are
law
really-
though? Just like you do any law?
That's what I would do. I would stop lobbying. That's the number one thing I feel is a problem with our government at the moment.
You know what most people probably say?
What?
Like, I get $1 million.
Is that a law?
Yeah.
There's a law that I'm going to amend.
It is illegal
that-
to not give me $1 if you see me. Boom.
Look
Now
at
give me
that.
$1. And
Give
now
me a
next
dollar.
when I see you tomorrow, you better give me $1. So somebody would do something stupid.
work.
It's, I guess.
Yeah. All right, where are we at? King Lenny says, what do you guys and gal think of these corporations offering to help people by elevating some of the cost put on them? Alleviating. I don't know about what's going on in that regard.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that in reference
I'm
to?
not
There
sure.
was a company that makes insulin that was cutting the cost of insulin for people
Oh.
with diabetes. I thought that was really nice.
It's going to deflate the economy.
It's probably still like 4 times the price of
Probably what
every
more than
other
it should
country.
be. Yeah.
What's the result of this? If prices are dropping artificially, people are losing their jobs, but the super wealthy corporations still have tons of money. Won't this just consolidate power in the hands of major corporations and wealthy billionaires?
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, there you go.
I see it.
Scary. Blacktron says, hi, Tim. I saw an article on Breitbart about Wuhan COVID patients being burned alive. Can you look into this and see if it's true? This story comes from Radio Free Asia, where they said unconfirmed rumors from locals. They say that they heard screams coming from the incinerators, from the crematoriums.
Yeah.
That's not confirmation of anything. And the reason I don't believe it is because if the Chinese government was going to burn people alive, first of all, they're harvesting organs. So there's
The waste.
I'd imagine that they wouldn't immediately, but maybe that's proof they kind of would. But also, wouldn't you just like knock them out to stop them from screaming?
And how would you hear them through the walls? I guess I don't know. There's too many variables.
I don't know.
there.
Maybe they're in the incinerator where the vent, goes to the roof and they're screaming and people can hear it kind of like a trumpet or something.
I don't know.
That's a good
It's
point.
Radio Free Asia reported it. They said it's unconfirmed rumors. So that's as far as you get with it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Ugh, grizzly.
Rick Sanchez, thanks for the super chat. He says, repeal the NFA. James Merriweather says, been gaming and watching your show during the quarantine. I am temporarily out of work, was a bartender due to CV, but I was able to get unemployment. Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear. Info Minimal says, it isn't jail. It's sloth life like Orange Cassidy. Well, I don't know what that is.
Neither do I.
Michael Wara says, buy some more cat litter. Oh, okay.
All
Are
right.
we out?
We
I'll have to
will.
check.
Says,
Random.
can mechanics have a shout out? We are still keeping people safe on the road along with disinfecting vehicles all day. I'm sure we'll get coronavirus.
Oh, man.
Definite shout out to the mechanics.
Cool.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
We'll rag on celebrities all day and then praise the people who do real work.
Yeah.
Like mechanics, electricians, plumbers, even
Truck drivers.
landscaping.
Sewage workers.
Yeah,
Like we
man.
have a guy who came by because we had to deal with some diseased trees. Substantially more important than celebrities.
Yeah.
Like what happens?
definitely.
Trees that are diseased can fall over and
Yeah,
kill people.
exactly.
So
and so
it's true.
Like that's an essential service. It's not. Ellen complaining in her mansion.
Ellen's show.
Yeah, definitely not this show.
No.
Not essential.
No, it's
But
not.
that's why we're in our basement.
Let's
We're
not say
going
it too loud. But
out. We are very important.
Yes.
Without us,
yeah,
people would lose their minds.
It's true.
people are saying they like listening to us.
Nah, man. It reminds me of how these journalists are so snooty. Like I told the story recently, I think, where I was at that conference.
Okay.
And somebody asked these the journalism panel, name 3 things you can do that a citizen journalist can't. And they were like, I say, well, I never. We're professionals.
Yes.
That was their response.
That's not an answer.
But it was I'm obviously exaggerating, but their response was like, well, we're professionals. I mean, we have standards and that we are honest and people are like,
I stopped listening.
right.
Yeah.
That's why I would never play a game and try and pretend to be essential. But there's gonna be a bunch of celebrities where they're like, celebrities are very important. We give people hope. All of these poor people, they get to look at us how wealthy and beautiful we are. And that makes them feel better about themselves because they can live vicariously through me.
Yeah, there's some celebs that definitely feel that way,
Oh, man.
and
Yep.
they have already been rudely awakened.
I don't know if they have been.
Some of them have, or at least the celebrities might not have, but the entire rest of the world who used to idolize them have been awakened.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, that's it's not so special anymore.
Me, on the other hand, I'm a dude in his basement complaining about his feelings on the internet, so I'm not going to pretend to be important. But hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Apparently, it's important enough.
Appreciate you.
Socialism says, did you see the leader of the WHO say to Trump, unless you want more body bags, don't politicize the virus? This was after Trump said we are not going to support them.
Yikes.
I did,
I didn't
and
see
you know
that.
what? They pumped out fake info. So at this point, what do you do? Do you give them more money? They did a bad job.
Yeah, no, you get a pay cut.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we'll see how things play out. I don't know.
I hope.
Space Dan, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Talbot says, plenty of time at home for most for homework. Shame I make industrial protective and PPE gear. Plenty of work for me. I like homework. Sad. Well, at least you're doing something very important.
Thank you for doing it.
Judge Tater says, hey, Adam.
Yo.
You might like the YouTube channel Jack's Blade. He's a personal trainer and anime nerd who makes fitness videos based on anime characters.
Oh,
Oh, that's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, that sounds
Neat.
cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Merrick says, Tim and Adam are currently the most trusted news sources on the planet.
Whoa.
Hire more reporters.
Yes.
Nice.
Think about that. What that means. Even if one person thinks that's true,
Mm-hmm.
like 3 people in a basement reading stories online and complaining about stuff is more trustworthy than CNN.
Yeah.
That says bad stuff about CNN or really good stuff about us.
Good stuff about
Yeah,
us.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah,
with the
let's
latter.
go positive.
And
Yeah.
stick with it.
Yes.
I like it.
CNN is trash
well,
anyway.
Thank you
so.
for that. I appreciate you.
Jay Willie says, United Nations calling for 10% tax on global gross domestic product to combat the virus. Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
Uh-huh.
That's going to happen.
Jonathan says, I play Abzan Reanimator combo with Carador as my commander. What are your thoughts on the 2020 commander releases?
Well, first off, I have two comments on this. Carador Reanimator is the deck that I built against you. I called it the anti-Tim deck. And it was basically just to counteract every shenanigans he pulls when playing Magic. I don't have that deck anymore, but I might actually bring it back. And I have pre-ordered all of them, the new Commander decks, because they look amazing and fun. And I'm going to make the Hydra Nightmare guy.
Nice.
For
Sweet.
those who know what it is.
James says, "Hey peeps, stay at home if you can and wear a mask, banana, etc. If you need to go out, my mask protects you. Your mask protects me. Masks for all." There you go.
Yes, if you can find them.
Baltazar says, CO2 isn't a pollutant. Plants eat CO2 and sacrifice 100 molecules of H2O to acquire it. Historical records of CO2 were in the thousands, not hundreds. We need more CO2, not less. Source, William Happer. Not familiar with who that is, but thanks for the
Very
super chat.
interesting, though.
Ryan Walker says, the left and their kinder, gentler politics have been frankly abhorrent regarding Boris Johnson's health. On Twitter, there are large groups of Corbynites wishing death upon him, disgusting animals. And it's always important to point out, though, that the fringe lunatics on Twitter are a very tiny fraction of the real world.
That's a good point.
There was a Labor mayor who lost her job. She will not be reelected because of what she said about Boris Johnson.
What'd
So
she say?
She's like, good, I'm glad he got sick.
Jeez.
I think she went short of saying she hoped he died, but I was like, that is awful.
These people are crazy.
You
Yeah,
wish
dude.
that upon anyone.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Arrogant narcissists who think they're smarter and better than you.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're just
Maybe.
really dumb people.
Ugh.
They're just, it's really frustrating how stupid many of these people are.
Mm-hmm.
And they think they're so smart. Man.
And
it's
they
just so awful.
they gotta shout to the world. And
Well-
actually,
They are.
it kind of goes in. They're not tough. It's fake toughness. We're gonna go into that
Oh,
later.
yeah.
It's kind of interesting, right?
Seeing the story about Trump owning a stake in this company that makes the hydroxychloroquine,
Yeah.
and all these people are you look in the comments and they're just talking about how smart they are. It's like, man, if only you could literally smack sense into somebody. You can't. They're just stupid people, and they
Can't
think
do
they're
it.
smart. That's what's so scary.
Yeah.
Granted, there are people who exist on this in all every side of the political.
Isn't that
spectrum.
Dunning-Kruger where you think you're a lot smarter than you are?
Yeah, you can't. It's like you're so dumb you can't realize how dumb you are. You know.
Scary.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Harold says Trump could go bankrupt because of decisions he's making in the best interest of the country. He can't get bailouts. Where's the credit for this? Yeah, somebody pointed out something funny. They were like, the amount of money Trump stands to make if the economy recovers is in the millions. The amount he stands to make if he sells some of this generic drug through a company he owns a minority stake in is like 4 figures. Like $1,000.
Yeah.
So dumb. John McGarry says the answer to the adpocalypse is simple. Content creators band together and tell their viewers not to watch commercial TV on YouTube. It just would never work. It's not going to happen. A Handy Redneck says, if that prison video were real, ask yourself, how did the inmates get a smartphone and post the video? the phone is contraband and not allowed. Yet tons of people in prisons and jails have cell phones. They smuggle them in all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a story recently where a guy had a cell phone because they forgot to take it from him. And so he asked them to charge it, and then they charged him with smuggling contraband. Yeah, and it was like a big controversy.
He's like, you didn't take it from me. What?
But yeah, this could literally be someone who smuggled in a phone and filmed. I mean, phones are ubiquitous. I mean, for all you know, that they paid a guard to do it or something. There's a bunch of different ways someone could sneak in a phone for him.
Haven't you ever seen Shawshank Redemption? Come on.
Yeah. Orange is the New
So
Black.
what you're saying is
I know
the
it's a
guy,
movie,
the
but-
guy chipped away a hole in the wall, climbed out through the sewage line, made it back in with the phone and filmed it.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
It's true, though. I think we got to be skeptical of these videos.
No, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Jazz Meyer says, "Wah, don't break the law." The Game Freak says, "Hey, Tim, Adam, and Lydia. I'm here in Florida preparing for an eventual lockdown. I watch your vids every day alongside local news. Hope things are going all right for you guys. Keep up the good work."
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man.
The Unrefined says, "I'm McFreakin' losing it. Loosing it."
Loosing it.
Sorry.
Man.
Annoyed Moderate says, you should looking into Patrick Henry if you haven't truly an awesome American. I encourage everyone to research the founders and the beginnings of this country." Yeah, he's the guy who said, "Give me liberty or give me death."
Yeah.
The Second Virginian Convention. Alex Ayala says, in MI, some celebs are buying meals for healthcare.
Oh, good.
That's cool.
That's nice.
That is nice.
Abated says, this question is for Chad Jesus. When you were still a model, did women constantly approach you for spiritual strength or ask you to relieve their sins? It was one of them.
Wait, is it serious? Is it a serious question?
It's a joke.
Oh, that's funny.
Nev says, where is the COVID-19 2020 version of We Are the World? LOL, stay everyone. Shout out to my essential workers. Katoth says, Tim Pool is so cool. I heard that.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for the super chat. Renison, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Austin Laverty. Oh, we just
Jump.
got the big jump. Wonderful. Thank you, YouTube, for helping me not know where the super chats are.
Getting close.
Are we?
I think so.
Nope. There we go.
Yep.
Austin Laverty says, might use this time to study for ham radio tech and general test. You can use HF bands talk around the world to real people instead of internet people if this hits again, and can do both tests same time. Cool. Eggman says, speaking of celebrities, are you guys ready for that inevitable movie based on coronavirus, probably starring Tom Hanks playing the role of Tom Hanks?
It's already happening.
Is it really?
There's what did they make? I think the makers of The Office are writing a new
Called,
sitcom,
like, Quarantine.
something
Yeah.
like Quarantine. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know what it's called. Yeah,
Huh.
it's supposed to be like a comedy though.
I'll look it
But
up.
I'm sure there's going to be a movie about this.
I'm sure.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, mhm.
Many movies.
Many.
Azazel says, I look up to Jon Stewart even though we probably disagree politically. Yep, he's a cool
I do
dude.
too.
Yep.
Paul says, Bernie voted in support of illegal bombing of Yugoslavia, which targeted and destroyed beautiful Orthodox churches, infrastructure, and civilians. He was never the anti-war candidate. Yes, I think he voted in favor of the first AUMF as well after 9/11. Not the second one, though. Student of History says, if they wanted to send a message and be relatable, these celebrities would be better off saying stay home and stay safe and promptly streaming COD.
Yes.
Yes, they would. Zachary says, what negative repercussions would there be to legally mandate the MSM to air their retractions first thing at their next primetime online and on TV?
Ooh.
I don't think the U.S. can pass a law controlling the freedom of the press or infringing upon it in any capacity.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yep.
I wish that were a requirement, though. That seems like a good thing.
There's civil things to it.
Right.
So the Covington kids should have mandated that they issue an on-air apology. Maybe they did. I don't know.
Yeah. Who
I
knows?
don't know.
Casper, thanks for the super chat. Ethan says, Tim, Soy Jesus Ghost Girl, thoughts on Joe Exotic? Innocent, guilty? Should Orange Man pardon?
I don't know.
I watched 20
We
minutes and I
tried.
was like, what is this?
I was like holding my eyeballs open. I'm like, I must watch this. Everyone seems to really want us to talk about it. And then I'm like, man, this show's really bad. And I like look around. I'm like, right, guys? Right?
Everyone's
right.
gone.
And I'm like in the room by myself. And I'm like, oh.
We
I
used
just
to
turned it
live.
off.
We used to live right by that
do it.
guy.
No. That was his competitor, the woman.
Oh,
Carol
okay.
Baskin.
Carol Baskin's place was.
We lived right by her.
Right near our.
Remember
old
the
spot.
monkey jungle thing?
Yeah.
What was that?
We never went to it.
No,
though.
I don't know. We were in
It's
Florida.
probably
there's a
her
sign for
neighbor.
them. Yeah, something like that.
Monkey jungle.
Exotic animals.
Yeah.
Jeremiah says, where do I get that globe and saucer? The saucer I got from Instagram.
I found it on eBay just
I
recently.
really want to spin it for the chat. Everyone's like, spin UFO. They're trying to will it. And I'm like, I'm watching it. And I'm like,
It could fall very easily if you
I
hit it.
know.
It'll
I know
pop
it
off.
can.
Yeah.
It's super.
It'll spin
Why did it
in a
stop?
It's
minute. I
really
don't know.
delicate.
Why did it stop?
I don't know. I'm gonna just
Make
Wait.
careful.
Oh no. There we go.
Soft spin.
Gently.
There we are.
Hey, we fixed it.
Well,
So,
it
for those
usually
wondering-
spins and then goes the other
Yeah.
direction.
Tim didn't just do that. That wasn't Tim. That was you guys.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
All of you just made that UFO spin.
That's
Through
right.
the power of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jesus Perez says, I once saw this guy turn himself into a pickle. I swear it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I saw that
I
too.
too have seen that. Corey Davis says, Tim, no, I'm not reading that.
Nope, nope, nope.
Michael Connor says, got into an argument with a friend as she was saying Trump has dementia just like Biden, if not worse, and that she will always vote blue no matter who.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's
So many of these.
somebody made a website called Bernie
Or else.
Yeah, Bernie or else.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not Bernie or bust. Or else.
Jeez. What are they
That's
gonna
a
do?
threat.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a threat.
Yeah, it is. But what are they gonna do though?
Go smash up windows and start fires.
Set
Great.
Milwaukee
Yep.
on fire.
Get arrested.
Well, no one's going to Milwaukee now.
No, right.
Casper says ABO Comics is publishing an anthology of art by queer prisoners about the pandemic behind bars. All proceeds go to emergency support. I mean, that's cool. If somebody makes a product, people are into it. You know, when I typically complain about like my big problem with how they do woke movies and comics and games is that they usually retcon existing stuff.
Right.
They'll take an existing IP and so like Iron Man, but now it's a young black woman.
Right.
It's like, why not just make a new character with a new power and everything? And
Yeah.
And make her special.
Exactly.
yeah, I don't get it because Static Shock is like one of the coolest superheroes ever. You know, Static Shock.
No, I don't.
It started as I think it was a Dark Horse comic. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it's an original character. And the show I remember watching when I was growing up, it went through a bunch of social justice and like educational storylines. Like his friend ends up being gay. He's like involved in like local
you
gang
showed
stuff.
me about this, or you told me about this.
Yeah, it was
before.
cool.
Yeah.
That's how social justice was done right. Like creating a cool character who was inspiring and heroic with cool powers
Yep.
in the situations that would help you understand something. Today, it's just like bashing you over the head, making
Yep.
Trying to make
just,
you feel
just
bad.
bad content, not funny jokes.
Rewriting stuff that's already around,
Yep.
beating it to death.
Yeah,
Exactly.
dude.
Sick of
Yeah.
it too.
Nobody. It's like they can't make new things.
But I would gladly play Final Fantasy VII Remake tomorrow night.
Well, that's different. That's like the same game but better.
I'm so excited. Anyway, please continue.
Aaron says, "Hey guys, the UFO isn't spinning. It's really distracting. Now it's spinning. Why did it stop spinning? It's speeding up. That was weird."
Well, the power of the comments minds.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
what it
know.
is.
Graves says, "You hear about the Bernie donation refunds? I didn't. Is he going to give refunds?"
I don't know.
Liberty Lovin says, "Moved to Asheville. Also, her name was Brianna Taylor. Not sure who that is."
Neither do I.
And well, you know, the comment super chats will come in on a delay.
Right.
Like people will comment and then we go back to it half an hour later. So. And Taro says, "Get rid of daylight savings, please, Daddy Tim." I agree. It's so dumb. It's like if you want more daylight, wake up an hour earlier. How stupid is that? Let's just turn the clock so everyone, you know what? Swampy says term limits removes power from the people and makes them feel less on the hook if there's bad officials. If we elect good people, we lose them. Yeah. That's why term limits. We have so many bad politicians who are like term limits without realizing that term limits doesn't guarantee you get a good politician.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It just guarantees you get a different one.
Maybe gerrymandering would be a thing that I would like to get rid of.
People don't understand gerrymandering either. It's not like someone goes in and goes, "We're gonna," you know. It's arguments and debates between groups as to what makes for a constituency.
Okay.
You'll often hear, you know, I'm not going to pretend to know enough about gerrymandering to defend it, but I can at least draw some skepticism on the activists who are acting like it's this grand evil when it exists for a reason. We have redistricting for a reason, and then you actually have different groups like deciding where the lines will be drawn. And so it only functions because both the Democrats and the Republicans are benefiting themselves.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. There's a lot to it.
I'll stay with making lobbying illegal.
Yep. Let's see. Furby says, "Since you don't understand that you walking up to and asking your own rep to look into something is lobbying, maybe you could brush up on the subject." Oh, there you go.
I got nothing.
See,
If you went
lobbying.
to the local congressman's office and started explaining why he needed to do something, that'd be lobbying.
Well,
Okay, but are you paying hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
dollars to that person?
You're
if
not
they-
legally allowed to. Nobody does.
Well, how do they pay?
This is
out?
the
Like,
weirdest-
what's the case then? Because this, that's what I
It's
assumed is what it was.
there's no way to get rid of all the loopholes.
right. What do they like? Lobbyists spend millions of dollars to sway them, but if they're not paying them directly, what exactly are they doing?
Backroom deals.
I'll give your fund $100 million, and it's like, sure, their fund isn't necessarily them, but they own it, and then they get a cut from that anyway.
Or it's a
like,
favor.
Right. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not always as simple as everyone thinks it is.
It's a good point. And again, I'm not a politician.
Julia says, Tim, how dare you come for the Lumineers? You have lost my vote for Supreme Overlord.
That was me, not Tim.
No. I did not say there will be no more Lumineers.
Right.
They will not be allowed to say, hey.
Yeah, that's all.
All songs will have the hays removed.
Surgically removed.
Oh, even older songs will have. So then we'll have like bootleg tapes
Underground.
I got the original. Oh, you want that original song here? Oh, I got that.
Wait, hold on.
OG song.
How many hays are in it?
Don't worry about it, Tim. Nothing. Over here, I got this.
And then he walks up and he puts a headphone jack into it and he puts one ear up to it and he goes, you cut this. There's only 3 hays. There should be 6.
The original had 6.
Dealing in hays. Max Lank says, would you ever go on the Jesse Lee Peterson show? I'm vaguely familiar with him, but for the most part, I'm going on no shows at all anymore because I work
here,
like
just this one
all day from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, man.
Nano says, what about lobbying for orphan adoption? That's right. Would you ban lobbying for orphan adoption? Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, are people actually doing that? Are they going and lobbying the government for orphan adoption?
Yeah, probably.
It's like, yeah, probably. I want to take money out of it. That would be the key.
It's
funny. I'm like, dude. I'm not a politician. Let me keep saying it. I'm not a politician.
The big issue.
I don't know enough about this kind of stuff. You asked me what law I would make, and I would dig into that if I was a politician. But
the issue is that everyone else is evil, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
So when the NRA lobbies, you get all these activists, people like David Hogg, being like, "We're coming for you, NRA." Ugh.
Yeah.
And the NRA is like, "We need the right to defend ourselves." And so they see this angry kid who wants to shut down their civil liberties and civil rights.
Yeah.
It's everyone else who's evil. You know what I mean? Granted, I think these activists who are trying to like go after the NRA are just doing it to virtue signal to make money, and none of them have any idea what they're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Which is a serious problem in politics.
It's true.
Carl says, your thoughts on conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory that China created the virus and cure, released them on their own public knowing it would spread worldwide, but cover the fact that it was intentional, and that way it would tank the markets to buy up companies. I know. China's had stuff like this happen before. They're inept, they're incompetent, and
they don't want the world to know.
I think it's fair to point out governments are incompetent in many different ways.
Yep.
So it's just, in all likelihood, we can speculate all day, but I don't like speculating without evidence. You know, if I look at the polls and the polls are like Donald Trump goes up nonstop and the economy's doing well, I'll be like, I'm going to speculate he's going to win.
Yeah.
If we have no evidence whatsoever on what's going on with this virus, there's literally no reason for me to be like 5G or it was planned. The 5G thing is the weirdest thing to me.
It is weird, yeah.
Because like the virus has hit like 180 countries or whatever, and there's like 4 or 5 countries that have implemented 5G technology.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now they're going to start saying it's the Starlink satellites from Elon Musk.
Ooh,
There's always some weird stuff happening.
It's always something.
Yeah, man.
All right, but I think we're going to have to start speeding things up because we are getting inundated with these super chats. Apologies if we miss you.
But thank you.
Mark G.
Appreciate you guys.
Mark G says, I was fine with Tim Pool until he went after Big Annis. Let us plebs enjoy our licorice flavoring in artisan fashion. Never!
No.
We will hunt you down. We will take the licorice from your cold, dead hands.
It's terrible.
There's going to be like people shoveling licorice into like incinerators.
Yeah.
And just like a woman falls screaming, no! Let's see. All right. Warren, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
S-Head says, you're definitely providing an essential service. I don't know a single mainstream network covering the news without an obvious agenda at hand. Also keeps me sane while I'm truck driving for Walmart. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank
Logan,
you.
thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
And I think that is a good point because my thing is always like, I really don't care if Trump gets reelected. You know, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It's be an adult. I don't know anybody.
You're not going to run through the streets screaming no at the top of your lungs?
Drop to my knees and go, wah! I can't believe anybody
I saw
would.
that video.
That's insane.
It's funny.
Why would anyone, what's wrong with people to where they act like this is something that matters?
Yeah. There's something that I deal with my issues that are happening. I go, how do I move forward? I don't tend to wallow, and I don't like that. I like going, you know what? This is my problem. How do I work through it and get past it and forward into like a new space,
Yeah.
because obviously I don't like where I'm at right now, or like what happened. And that's what people need to do. They need to look forward and go, how do I, if I truly don't like this person, how do we move forward and like fix what they think is wrong? And they don't
But
want to
have
do
you-
that. They just want to complain about what is the now.
But have you ever tried
fixing
their
anything.
method for
Screaming
problem solving
at the top of my lungs.
Yeah, so let's
No.
say you're trying to get that back disaster revert. On
I
the
was
mini ramp.
thinking, it's like,
Have
all
you-
right, maybe if I'm skating.
Well, no. Have you when you don't get the trick? Have you tried, instead of trying to do the trick, just going on your knees and screaming as loud as you can?
No,
Maybe
I actually
that will
haven't tried
actually
that.
help you
Oh,
you
that
get the
could
trick,
work.
right?
I mean, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I like my
So-
I like my work better. It
I-
works for me.
I think young people need to learn some kind of sport activity and music, some kind of strategy. There should be various things you can do with kids.
Yeah.
But one of the most important things is physical activity, because, there's cheating in some sports. There's ways to cheat.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you're playing baseball and you don't hit the ball, you can't pretend you did.
Yeah, that's a
You
good point.
have to actually hit it.
You got to hit it.
Yep. And
That's
so if the only way to improve is to actually figure it out, but we got so many kids who grew up never having to do that. So they just drop to their knees and scream as loud as they can.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But also, like, what do you think's going to
This
happen?
worked when I was a child.
It did.
I know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Do they think Donald Trump is going to pop out of the sewer and go, and then like throw a rock at him or something? You're never going to see the guy. He's never going to impact you.
That's
And
a
now-
funny image, though.
It's funny because activists are posting on Reddit stuff. They're like, Joe Biden and Trump have both been, credibly accused of assaulting women. Who do I vote for? And there's like an argument, like no one knows. They're like, don't vote. No, vote for Biden. Are you nuts? Biden, he's a, assaulter and abuser. Yeah, but we can't let Trump win. It's like, what are you kidding? They're just going up in flames.
All
Yeah.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
just looking forward to that first
Sounds good to
debate.
me. Oh man.
Yep.
And I'm going to make some popcorn.
Isaac says, Tim, did you see Betty Crowder destroying the pyramid of toilet paper? Source, louder with Crowder.
No.
I didn't. I don't know
Betty's
if that
the
is.
puppy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
didn't see that.
That's cute.
That is adorable. I'll have to
Yeah.
watch.
Let's see. Rimser says, what are your thoughts on Greg Reese, Owen Schroyer, and the rest of the gang from InfoWars? They present many interesting theories. Just wanted to get your opinion. By the way, love your work. I don't know a lot about him. I haven't seen a whole lot of their stuff. I've seen a little bit of Owen Schroyer, but I don't know enough to comment. I know who he is, and I know that he got sexually assaulted in D.C. at it was the Women's March, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, a woman grabbed his junk, and then she got arrested for it.
Yeah, she got in big trouble.
And she got didn't she get charged, like convicted?
She did, yeah.
Yup. They thought it was
Good
funny
riddance.
that
It
they
happened
could
to
grab.
me.
Yup.
Remember?
it's
Yeah.
not
told
And
that
then he
story.
called the cops. Like they were like, no, who cares? I can do what I want. And the cops arrested her. And it's like,
Cannot.
you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yep.
Warm Susu, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
And then we get the big super chat jump. Man, we are getting absolutely inundated with all these super chats.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Yes. What she said.
You're the best.
Psychnosis says, hey, Tim, I am from Denmark. We shut down very early while our neighbors in Sweden just shut down now. You should keep an eye on these two countries since they could be test cases for the different strategies. Yes, Sweden in 2 weeks is going to be bad.
Yeah, I was watching a video yesterday about I don't know if it's the Surgeon General or like whoever. It's like basically the person in charge, and he was like, they're trying to do herd immunity, and it was like, look, there's nothing showing that quarantining everyone works, and this is new, so we're gonna do herd immunity. And if they just shut down, that's new. I didn't know that they actually did. Shut everything
UK
down.
tried that initially as well, and then immediately backtracked. Like, it's not working.
Maybe
Stop.
this is not a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's see. JB says, hi, Tim, Soyjus, and Lydia of Whiterun. Have you seen Fate Zero anime? The arguments of celebs being aspirational is the same argument that Iskander uses against Arturia on the meaning to be king. I am not familiar,
No.
but yeah, I appreciate, the anime. Phil Yu says, if one law could be changed, it should be that all members of the House and Senate are only paid the national median wage. If they want to raise, they need to help everyone across the board. I like that.
I kinda
I've heard that
like
before.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That's a good saying. I
The
like it.
problem is they'll just find ways to enrich themselves.
That's
They
what
will be
they're doing.
like, yes, we will. And then they're like, in 2 years, I am out of here and I'm going to get a job as a inspector for this big company and make $1 million.
Well, then good. They shouldn't be in government then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
Right?
going to.
Wouldn't that be the
That
thing?
means while they're there, this big company is going to be like, we want you to pass this law that makes it so we can, eat babies. And then they're going to be like, you got it. And then they're going to get a job once they leave,
Yeah.
Sandwich says, the UFO ran out of juice. Juice it up for us. There
Done
you
and
go.
done.
Ebrock says, why is the UFO not spinning? It has
my
been
gosh.
solved.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Sotelo says, top 3 bands' musical influences. Muse.
Muse is good.
And I don't know what else.
I got to go with Led Zeppelin. That was my first concert ever. It was in 1998. It was their reunion tour. It was awesome. John Bonham's son played the drums.
Cool, wow.
So it was like basically the entire band. It was awesome. And let's see, Sublime. Incubus was a huge
Incubus.
Influence of mine.
I like Muse. I like Metric.
I like Muse a lot. I just saw them in Madison Square Garden a couple months back. Maybe a
Amazing.
little more than that, but my goodness.
Yeah.
And Tool and A Perfect Circle both are really up there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of music, but I don't have any favorites because aside from Muse, probably.
Yeah.
All right, let's see where we at. Amber says daylight savings helps farmers and ranchers, the forgotten food producers. The Civic Nationalist says I live in a household who despises the president and the prime minister. They don't want to hear about them. The strong leader derangement syndrome is here. What's your opinion on civic nationalism? I'm not super familiar with all of the tenets of what civic nationalism is. That's just like general nationalism, right? Like American nationalism.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's like been the default of the country for the entirety of its existence.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Well,
It's
I
like,
don't know.
I love America.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
I don't know what the differentiator is between that and the other forms because there's like economic, like Steve Bannon talks about economic nationalism.
Okay.
And then there's obviously racial nationalism, which is stupid. At least from an American standpoint, I don't see like, well, well, actually, no, I just think it's generally dumb. I've seen a lot of these countries being part Korean that are ridiculously supremacist. And it's like to their detriment. But they hold on to these animosities from hundreds of years of history that don't pertain to today. Young people don't care.
Humans need to learn to let go of their pride.
So, well, yes.
Yeah.
But like, I always question when people are like, pride is a bad thing. Because some pride is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a balance.
I think
can't go
ego.
full ham on anything, you know?
Yeah.
You got to find the balance.
All right. Mark says, hi, three amigos. The Nuremberg trials resulted in a grand total of 10. Yes, only 10 hangings. I doubt anyone in Beijing or the WHO will face serious consequences for misleading the globe on COVID. Sad. I agree. Cracklin says, doesn't Biden look like one of Jeff Dunham's puppets? Seriously, Google it or look it up with your Byakugan.
does.
Look it up with your Byakugan. Very few people understood that reference, but I got it. Pickle says, Adam, I sent you a tweet about the diversity shoot. Simon is in New Jersey and a firearms trainer who has helped a lot of people. I saw Simon like the tweet.
You did send that to me, and I'm going to hit him up.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
Dustin says, center-leaning right truck driver, dividing my time between work, being a dad to my beautiful 6-year-old boy, Devin, and finishing up RE3 Remake. You give me with a healthy balance of different opinions. Hey, appreciate it. Student of History says, it's hilarious how quickly the velvet glove was removed to reveal the Iron Fist after Bernie bailed out, no refunds. So as soon as Bernie dropped out, his press secretary was like, oh, you know what? Now I don't got to say Democratic Socialist anymore. The difference between socialist and Democratic Socialist is that the reason, this is exactly what they say. Democratic Socialists want you to vote for policies that will enact socialism. And the difference is that regular socialists want to take it by gunpoint.
Ah.
So as soon as Bernie's out, she's like, oh, I can finally drop the Democratic part of this. It's like, I
Good
see.
to know.
That was fast.
Yeah. Yikes.
All right. Caesar says, I don't always agree with your opinions, but I follow you because I trust that you provide accurate information to the best of your ability. Thank you. P.S. Adam and Lydia are also pretty hecking cool.
Thanks, man.
You know it.
Thank you.
Jay says, did you guys watch PewDiePie's Jubilee video on vegans? It was pretty funny, and I bet Adam would get a kick out of it. What YouTubers do you guys watch, if any? None. I do not watch
Actually, that's not true. There's a few game makers that I follow. I am really big into gaming, and I'm actually designing a few games myself. And there are a few like Game Makers Workshop and a couple others. I can't remember the name of what they're called right now, but it's been a while since I've watched them. But I do dig into that sometimes.
Couples Therapy says, thank you for being level-headed and informative. Your videos keep me informed and entertained while running my greenhouse selling veggie plants.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Nice.
ISK says, on urban wildlife tangent, thoughts and possible prep for rats becoming more aggressive and desperate. My landlord been making rounds looking for possible entry points and setting up traps.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
We're going to have to negotiate. Find the leader.
Is this the strategy?
Diplomacy
that's funny.
first.
Okay.
Oh, man. No, we're going to reap what we have sown.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
Someone's asking if Soy Bra skates.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Do I skate? Totally. You can see actually some of my videos. Just type my name. There's my name right there. Type it in YouTube, and Arbor Skateboards is probably the best. I used to ride for Bustin Skateboards also, but that was earlier in my skate career, I guess. I use that term lightly, but yeah,
Let's
you can
discuss.
check out my stuff.
Let us discuss the rent apocalypse.
Yeah, the rent apocalypse.
So we had talked for a bit about how people weren't going to pay rent. People didn't have money to pay rent. And when that happens, the next wave of economic destruction would be upon us, because while a lot of these lefties don't understand that there's a lot of work that goes into maintaining property, these companies have staff. They have employees. They have groundskeepers, electricians, maintenance, whatever.
Yep.
Now those people aren't going to get paid. But the story from the Wall Street Journal is that nearly a third of U.S. apartment renters didn't pay April rent. Some tenants will be temporarily protected from eviction by a patchwork of federal and local laws. But my understanding is it only lasts for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And what do you
90
think?
days,
What do you
right.
think's going to happen when? So there was this big story. BuzzFeed covered it, where a building sent out an email to everybody saying, "Hey, like here's what you can do if you need benefits. Just so you know, rent is still due.
Right.
We won't evict you because of the law, but you can be evicted later."
Right.
And so the company forgot. They accidentally CC'd everybody on it, I guess.
Oh, they weren't supposed to?
I mean, maybe they didn't care.
Yeah.
But now everyone had access to everyone else's email. And so they organized a rent strike on the entire company.
Oh, jeez.
And the reason that's messed up
that
is like,
backfired.
well, if you do that, you slap in the face of you slap your landlord in the face. What do
Yeah.
you think is going to happen in 3 months? Do you think they're going to be like, well, now that this is all over, keep paying your rent, we're all good? Or do you think they're going to be like, get out?
They're going to get
Bye-bye.
out. They're going to tell them to get out. It's not surprising.
I'd be willing to bet if you had an email from your landlord and you emailed back saying, I lost my job at the beginning of the month, I hope you understand, there's something I can do, they'd be like, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what the email said, right? If you need help,
Well,
here's the way to get some help.
But it said,
but you got to pay rent.
you still got to pay your rent,
Sure,
and
it's
we
a
can't
business.
evict you now, but we can evict you later.
And we will.
Yep.
It's not really a surprise. It's
Oh,
not
man.
surprising.
Check this out. So the Wall Street Journal writes, nearly a third of U.S. apartment renters didn't pay any of their April rent during the first week of the month, according to new data to be released Wednesday by the National Multifamily Housing Council and a consortium of real estate data providers. The numbers are the first hard look at how many Americans are struggling to make rent during the coronavirus pandemic. The data comes in the first of weekly reports on unpaid rent from NMHC, a landlord trade group. But I gotta stop real quick, because why are we assuming it was all people unable to pay?
Right.
How many of them were like, "Ooh, now's my chance"?
Yeah, exactly. How do we know?
We just
Yeah, we
we
like,
saw that story from
nah,
BuzzFeed where
I
they were
can't
like,
believe that.
"We refuse to pay."
I blame Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, because
But
they
started
blasted it out.
Yeah.
they
We are
started all
not going to
this.
pay come April 1st. And
Well,
it's
that's
like,
what
what? Why are you even announcing that?
They said they couldn't pay,
okay.
and
sure.
now what's AMC might go out of business.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with all that property at all these malls?
It's going to this is what I've been saying for a long time. The housing market is going to they're going to use it. They're going to become homes. They have big, huge, like
Movie theaters?
No. Well, and malls. You said malls, and
Yeah.
movie theaters maybe, but think about what a mall is.
Oh, yeah.
It's got all these like stores with like nice and lit up sunroofs throughout the whole middle. So it's like gardens in the middle, and then it's going to be apartments. It doesn't make sense for everyone goes online to
malls are collapsing.
get everything. Yeah, exactly. Small time businesses they're getting shut down, especially now. It's like half of them are gonna go under because of this.
It's interesting because I've actually been to a dying mall. This was during Ferguson.
Yeah.
There was like 2 towns over to the west of Ferguson was a mall that had, I think, like 90 empty storefronts.
Wow.
And it was partly because of the rioting in Ferguson.
Okay.
So when the first rioting broke out, they locked the whole place down with like police because they were worried about looting and stuff, and people naturally got freaked out and didn't want to show up. What ends up happening then is you have a lot of these stores that operate at a loss because these big companies. I don't know if there's any specific I can specifically to name, but I'll give you a Starbucks example. Starbucks will make a ton of money in one location of a city, and they'll be losing money in another location. But they want the marketing and the presence.
Right.
So the successful store subsidizes the weaker stores.
Okay.
As it happens in malls, you'll end up with Lids or something.
And
They sell hats.
Starbucks and GameStops
And they know that this
I
one
don't know
mall
what else.
isn't that lucrative, but they want the brand recognition of the people
Yeah.
who come and go.
Yep.
So when one store leaves, then there's less incentive for people to go there even. and then for other businesses to even set up, because the benefit of the mall is that there's foot traffic.
Yeah.
So if high-profile stores start leaving for any reason, they don't pay their rent. AMC, for instance. If AMC goes out of business, these movie theaters, or even Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
How many people have been like, oh, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. Where is it? At the mall. Hey, great. We'll go. We'll put our names in, wait 15, 20 minutes, walk around the mall and buy stuff. Now that Cheesecake Factory is gone, people are going to be like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now the mall is going to, this is the cascade that destroys the mall. And that's why it's not just about, rent for people and where they live. Because this story is specifically talking about apartment rentals.
Yeah, true.
But businesses.
Yeah, exactly. All rent.
Yeah.
It's impacting across the board for sure.
But then you have these activists, which is the Wall Street Journal actually shows. I wonder if they're trying to make this, what is this? They say protesters in Los Angeles last week called for rent forgiveness due to the surge in coronavirus-related job losses. Why not cell phone forgiveness?
Yeah, rent forgiveness, so like they don't have to actually pay for it. Like, oh, we get this month free. Is that what they're asking for?
What about cable TV forgiveness? What's the difference between? Look, I get it. You need a place to live. You can't be homeless.
Yeah, food and shelter.
But you're paying for some kind of service or product or something. You're paying to use the space.
Yeah.
Why should we forgive this and nothing else? This is one of the biggest problems with a lot of these lefty activists, like especially the minimum wage increases. It's like, why $15? Why not 20? Why not 25? Why not 30?
Yeah.
And then you actually had, I think Rashida Tlaib said, okay, then we'll do 20. And after they got, they voted on 15, she then said 20, and then it just keeps going up. It never ends.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm curious as to what the economic impact is going to be of, all this. The Wall Street Journal says that only 69% of tenants paid any of their rent between April 1st and the 5th, compared with 81 in the first week of March and 82 in April 2019. The count includes renters who only made partial payments. Many renters who haven't yet paid may still pay later this month.
Wow, that's actually really interesting. That's not that much of a difference.
Right.
If only 82% paid their rent in April last year, there was no pandemic last year. So that's not that big of a drop.
It's a 13% difference.
It's not like, going in, it's like, oh, 100% of people pay the rent, eventually, maybe not like right on time, but they pay the rent. And that's clearly not true. Only 82% paid last year. Wow, that's an interesting number.
The Wall Street Journal reports the federal government has agreed to let apartment building owners with government-backed mortgages defer their mortgage payments. And the Federal Reserve also said it would buy up bonds tied to certain multifamily loans. Those measures, however, only cover part of the total rental market and don't address loans held by banks without a governmental guarantee. Less than 1/3 of U.S. rental units are federally financed and covered by protections in last month's stimulus package, according to an estimate from the Urban Institute, a Washington-based think tank.
That's not a lot.
No, you know what I think it really is, man? I think there's a decent amount of people who are like, now's my chance. I'm not going to pay rent.
Yep.
And they're justifying it. And look, you have protests in Los Angeles, rent forgiveness. These people have no idea what they're talking about. They're basically just demanding something for free.
Feels like it, yeah.
I get it. We don't want people to be homeless, but you're able-bodied, and like these people aren't. These protesters look young. Like, you can get a job, man.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest problems with the participation trophy era is that none of these people want to work at McDonald's. I worked at a fast food restaurant. It was my first job. I didn't care. It was a job.
Mine was Blockbuster.
Blockbuster Video.
I worked at Blockbuster.
And so what's the big deal? How much do they pay? They pay minimum wage?
I don't even remember. It was years ago.
But I'm sure they didn't pay you
18 or something.
I'm sure they paid you the bare minimum.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many young people or younger people today that they're like, I'm not going to work at McDonald's. Okay, then you'll be broke.
Yeah.
But then what they do is they demand free rent or free product or government pay for things.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of strange to me because I was watching I was watching the history of like the fast food burger in America.
Okay.
And it was like there was a period in this country where it wasn't demeaning to work low-skilled jobs. It was like people were like, I got a job. What do you do? I'm part of a food prep line. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And you just flip burgers. And then something happened where we started getting snootier and snootier.
Yeah,
and then
that's a good point.
I remember growing up and people would say to me, like, you don't want to end up flipping burgers, do you? And I'm like...
It's like, will I be happy?
Right.
It's like, yeah. Oh, well then what's the big deal?
Yep. That's what my dad used to say. He's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then I'd be like, I don't know. He's like, wrong answer. Happy.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I like that.
Yep. I remember I was riding with my dad when I was a little kid, and I saw a homeless guy riding a bike.
Okay.
Presumably homeless, like carrying stuff around. And I said, I was like a little kid. I said, that's sad. And he's like, what's sad? And I was like, oh, the homeless guy. And he goes, why is that sad? He could be the happiest guy in the world for all you know. And I was like, And the guy didn't look sad.
It's good perspective right there.
Yeah. So, the funny thing is about these people who feel like they're above everything, like they deserve free rent because, housing is a human right or whatever. It's like, why should the immigrants who come to this country, they work fast food. Why should they have to do that and not get free rent, but you think you're deserving of the free rent? I mean, you encourage them to come here and stay there. And then what? They have to wash your dishes and then you get to live for free? How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No.
The other thing too is like, what if you were really good at flipping burgers?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So I'll tell you my we will wrap up on this one final thought. Some business advice for everybody. I may have said this on the show. I don't know if I did, but let me ask you guys a question. Did I ever ask? Well, I'll just ask you anyway. Adam, if you got a call right now from McDonald's and they said, Adam Krigler, and you were like, yeah, that's me, they'd be like, we want you to work the cashier at our downtown Philly location starting tomorrow 10 a.m. What do you say?
How much?
Boom.
How much you paying me?
Exactly. Right answer.
Right? Because I love my job right now. Right? I get to talk to these awesome people, and you two. This is great.
But you know what most people say?
What?
No.
No, I can't be seen at McDonald's.
So people often ask me like, how do you be successful and all that? And I ask them this question: if McDonald's called you right now and said, we want you to work the cashier, what would you say? They're like, no. I'm like, why would you say no? Because I don't want to do that. I'm like, it's the wrong answer. The right answer is how much?
Or like, what if they paid you $20,000
a day?
A day. You'd be like, all right, maybe I can work that register.
Right. Yeah. And
like,
so
you could.
This is how people end up being bad at business.
True.
It's like you don't even know what they were going to offer you. You don't even know how long it was going to be for. And they're like, well, I just assumed. Boom, there it is. Yep. You assumed.
You got to know. You got to ask questions. You got to do the research.
So here's what I tell people. When I get hit for jobs, they're like, would you be willing to do this? I say, I don't know. Give me $1,000. And when they're like, whoa, $1,000, that's too much money. I'll be like, okay, I didn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever.
But at least now I know.
Yeah. Or they might be like, okay, $1,000. And you're like, wow, really $1,000?
Yeah, maybe I should ask for a little more.
Yeah. So, right. Exactly. I had a friend who got a job offer that was, it paid too little. And they were like, I'm going to say no. I don't think I'm going to take it. And I was like, why say no? I was like, would you do the job for $90,000 a year? And they were like, nah. And I was like, how about 120? And they went, well, 120. Yeah. I'm like, there you go. Send the email.
Yep.
Saying that's what you want. And then they're like, but they're not going to offer it to me. And I'm like, congratulations. Then you don't get a job you didn't want in the first place.
Boom.
And sure enough, they sent the email and the company emailed back. That's too much. We appreciate it. Have a nice day.
Yep.
There you go. Problem
Wait,
solved.
you were going to say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Why even bother?
But imagine if they said yes.
Yeah, right.
Right. Anyway, to wrap this back up, I think we have a problem with weird urban elitism. And I wonder if like these people saying rent forgiveness, can we like put them on a farm? to going on a retreat, not like what was going to farm. That was a reference to something, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Disciplinary camp.
Yeah, it was a reference to something specific about sending people to a farm. No, I mean like quite literally like showing them how to grow food and how to do basic stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Not by force. That wasn't my
I was
point.
just thinking like, man, the farmers are going to be like, get these people out of here.
Dude, for real.
You know what I mean?
You know what's funny though? These people,
they don't know how to work. You got to work on a farm.
Oh, totally.
It's serious work.
But think about these activists, how they're like all about immigrants and illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
It's like you want to be really honest. Illegal immigrants work so much harder than these people.
They really do.
It was funny, like I can't remember who tweeted this. They were like, we will gladly exchange the socialists for the illegal, the undocumented workers who work really hard.
Yeah. Like
we're good. So hey, it's your call.
Yeah, because all those people know what it's like to have nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
They had no comfortable bubble ever. They see Americans in their comfortable bubble and they go, I will do anything to have that.
Yeah.
And then they do.
And then you have some overweight people demanding they get free rent.
Yeah.
It's like, I know people who would like scrape scum off of the floor with a toothbrush for minimum wage in this country because it's so much like minimum wage in this country is a lot of money relative to a lot of other places.
Yeah.
Very true.
And there are people who are like, wow, I would get to do that and make all this money. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of higher education? Because I'm wondering if the bar isn't being artificially set high.
I think it's partly.
Yeah.
I think it's these people are being told by their parents that they're going to be the president,
Right.
you know.
Well, the same parents who are telling them that they can do whatever they want are also telling them that they have to go to college.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if there's overlap.
You can do anything, but go get in debt.
Yeah, get in debt first.
Yeah.
This will work great.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny when I see people I know who have ridiculous debt, like hundreds of thousands in debt.
Yep.
And they're trying to advocate for why the government should forgive all of it. And I'm like, isn't it strange that the people who think it's the right thing to do are the ones who are saddled with debt, and the people who don't have the debt think it's the wrong thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you dug yourself into a hole, made mistakes, and then were like, somebody else should pay for it.
Debt forgiveness now.
Yeah.
Holding up the sign.
Seriously.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
exactly the same.
Yeah. Rent forgiveness.
Yep.
You know, cities are going to collapse. This can't continue. The cost of rent goes up.
Yep.
The value of labor goes down. And then how do you maintain these buildings? Look at San Francisco. The place is a nightmare.
It really is.
There's like poop everywhere. They have a poop department.
They do.
That's
yes.
incredible.
It's true.
Truly
Literally,
amazing.
it's like firefighters.
That had
but
me
for
cracking up when you told me
Oh,
that.
man.
It's a real thing.
I know.
Look at you laughing at the misfortune of this dystopian nightmare.
That's their
man.
fault.
Think about what San Fran is too. It's like, I mean, this is in LA. These rent forgiveness people. You know what, man? If somebody builds something and they use their labor, you know, and they work really hard for it, why do these people think they deserve it for free? Just, you know what? Maybe they don't think they deserve it. Maybe they found an easy out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Put on a mask, put on gloves, threaten people, and
They're
you'll
like,
get it for free.
I can't pay rent, or I can, and everyone else isn't doing it, so I'm gonna just go full in and make signs and just, you know, be an activist against this just because I don't want to pay rent.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
why not go all the way? Why stop at like I shouldn't have to pay rent? How about the government should give me personally $1 million?
Ooh.
Let's go all the way. I should be king of the planet. Everyone give me everything. It's interesting because if you're asking for free stuff because you think you deserve it, and look, I think there's an argument to be made about fighting for certain rights, but arguing that you have a right to someone else's property which is supported and maintained by their labor and you shouldn't contribute to it is a really weird thing. But why stop there?
Yeah, it's true.
Why not? How about
What's the difference?
Yeah.
how about we own the building?
Shooting off
Why
a low.
why rent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot
these people-
higher.
Exactly. Aim higher. Aim for the moon, man. Because
Yeah.
if you miss, you'll hit the stars. Or aim for the stars. What is it saying?
Shoot for the moon.
Shoot for the moon.
Yeah, even
Because if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
That's
There you go.
stupid.
Put that rent forgiveness sign down.
But that's
And-
like actually flinging yourself into the moon.
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
It's-
Why
sounds
not just hold
horrible.
up a sign saying, "Give me ownership of the building"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why stop there? Give me the owner. Make me mayor,
I
Yeah.
deserve it.
supreme
Yeah.
chancellor of the city. Why even stop there?
Yeah.
But in a more serious nature, why literally stop with only rent? Why don't they demand free utilities? Free utilities,
Free school?
free access, free maintenance.
Yeah, it's
The
interesting.
people who built this should be forced to maintain the building for free. I'm not
Right.
going to give them anything.
It's like, well, I'll keep paying Con Ed because I want my electricity to stay on because they'll shut it off. But I want rent free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's a lot of people that are just like, you know, my grandfather was one of those. He had like 3 buildings. He busted his butt off to try to, you know, fix everything that was wrong. There's always things that were going wrong. And if, you know, his whole life depended on getting rent from these people.
And you got to maintain that building for 30 years,
Yeah.
35 years, whatever, however long, and maybe longer. These people come in for a year.
Right.
And you know what really is really messed up in Chicago? There's a problem where it's probably not unique to Chicago, but when people get evicted, they take like Hershey's syrup and squeeze it all throughout the cracks of
Oh
wherever
my
they can.
Gosh.
You
So
can't
bad.
get it out.
Yeah.
It's like a deep clean. You got to pull up tile floors and everything. So you have these people.
Sometimes it's not Hershey's chocolate.
That's true,
Sometimes it's
Even worse.
excrement.
man.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you see what the result is of this mentality of I get it for free. Like, have you ever been to Crown Heights
Yeah.
in Brooklyn?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of boarded up buildings, just like.
Yep.
You know what's really crazy about New York? Have you ever played a video game where there's some buildings you can go in? You know what I'm talking about, like GTA, for instance.
Yeah.
Most buildings are just closed,
Yeah.
but a few of them you can go in.
Very little. More like Division would make more sense. Like
Yeah, like
there's things that are open you can explore, but most are boarded up.
Like
Yeah.
parts of New York.
Just like New York.
It's
yeah.
crazy. Like when I lived in Crown Heights, it's like I walk down this busy street and I see all of these buildings boarded up, and I'm like, it's almost like being in a video game where you're not supposed to go in the building because they didn't design it.
Yeah.
Why are all these buildings just destroyed? And it's because there's no one there to pay to maintain it.
Exactly.
And that's what happens when you get these people who want to invert the flow of like value.
Yeah.
So it's got to start from somewhere.
Well, there was already over the past maybe I guess the past 10 years, people leaving cities, people going out into the smaller rural areas and getting huge houses for less their mortgage would be less than what they were paying rent wise. And they're like, look at my property. Like they're gardening now. And it's like, there's a lot of that going around. So cities are emptying out already.
With the internet?
And now this?
I'm looking at West Virginia, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Skylink, what is it Skylink?
Skylink?
What's it called?
Elon Musk.
Starlink.
Starlink.
Yeah, yeah.
Starlink, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know
of.
what, man? But not
It's like it's going to be everywhere. Internet's going to be everywhere. That's
even,
amazing.
Not even that. I mean, there are parts of West Virginia that have gigabit internet.
Really?
Like a lot of the places there. And so now I'm thinking like, man, you could have this massive property.
Yep.
You can run around wherever you want, do whatever you want. No one's going to get in your way. Listen, you know what's crazy to me about the cities? You live in New York. Tell me, when was the last time you talked to your neighbor?
I can't.
Nah,
I
you
mean,
didn't.
I'm trying to think. You know, there was one time that I was living in the Upper East Side where I was friends with my upstairs neighbor. But that was it. I lived in New York for 16 years, and I never knew my neighbors. Never.
I lived in the building next to you, and then moved a block away.
Yeah.
And we knew each other.
Right.
We knew nobody else.
But we knew each other before that, though.
Right. Right. Now I was looking for an apartment. I'm like, oh, hey, this building opened up, and you recommended it.
Yeah.
Luke, I talked about this before. Luke Rutkowski has a video on his YouTube channel where it's from like 2012, where he goes in the subway and he's like, look at all these millions of people, and not one of them talks to each other. Let's talk to them. It's like a cool video.
That is cool.
Why bother living in the city, crammed in this tiny box for a ridiculous amount of money and really high taxes,
Exactly.
to be around people you don't want to talk to?
Well, you're not thinking about what they do after work. You know, you see them in the subway, but they're either going to work or going to the place where they do congregate with people. You know, when you go to a bar in the middle of nowhere, there's like 5 people. They go there all the time. They all know each other. There's nothing new.
Yeah, I get it.
In New York, you go to a bar every single day. You can go to that same bar and you'll see no one the same. Well, probably.
Maybe it's just me, but I see these videos from quarantine, people, and they're like, look, we built a pillow fort in our living room. It's like, yes, on my property, we built a fort, like a real one, with wood. And then we climbed up in it. Or we dug a trench, and like, you can do so much on a massive property. You can farm, you can grow stuff, you can build stuff. That's why I've been slowly moving away from cities. Like, what's the point? I mean, I get it, work, right?
Yeah.
But now with the internet, especially with what we do, what's the incentive to be anywhere near one of these monstrosities with really high taxes, smog, garbage air, people you don't want to talk to?
I mean, you made mention the other day that the air is cleaner because of this, and I didn't really pay attention to it, but I was out today skating and I was just taking some deep breaths, and I was just like, wow, the air is really cleaner. I can tell the difference, and it was nice.
Yeah, we're really close to Philly.
But imagine way out in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia. You know, I don't know, I can't name of a big city in West Virginia, but it's not Philadelphia, it's not New York, it's not Chicago. It's like these big industrial places we've lived in.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who are listening who live in more rural areas. And at this point, it's probably makes more sense than ever. You get a big property with a low mortgage, tons of open space. The dog can run around and do whatever it wants. You got rabbits doing what rabbits do. Whereas in like a city, it's just concrete everywhere.
Yeah.
We have turkeys over here, though.
We do, yeah.
They walk around, rafters.
Bunnies, yeah.
Well,
Gross.
I mean,
Lots
rabbits
of geese. There's lots of geese too.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Dangerous.
Definitely.
They're
Let's
dangerous.
jump over to the super chats.
Wicked.
Yeah, word.
And then what should we do for the next one? Should we do how to be a real man? Should we talk about how to be a real man?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, it seems interesting.
We had a bunch of other ones, but I think we'll get to being a real man as the next one. Let's try and figure out where the super chats are. It's always the most fun part. Oh, here we go. That was not so difficult.
Nice.
Let's see. Where are we now?
Where are we, Tim?
There's the
Where
Reds.
are we? Huh?
I think
We're somewhere.
We'll just start here.
All right.
Spaghetti Joe Rogan's Powerful Meatball says, if the general consensus is that government on both sides is corrupt and inefficient, wouldn't it be logical to be a libertarian? I see that as concise. What are you guys and ladies' thoughts?
I consider myself a libertarian.
But
I know you do.
But it's about big L libertarian in the United States, which is like more right libertarianism
Right. Okay.
versus typical liberty minded. So there's a bunch of funny things about American big L libertarians.
Okay.
There was apparently some guy at the debate like pulled his pants off on stage. They had an argument about whether or not they should be allowed to sell hard drugs to kids.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Right.
So, right. So there needs to be some sort of structure in place for the people that are not logical.
But this is classical liberal and social liberal.
Okay.
That's the center left and center right positions.
Okay.
So I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people who listen are classical liberals, and that overlaps a bit with like center right conservative. And then center left, which people try to claim Bernie is, he's not. Social liberal is essentially the same thing. But the difference is social liberals tend to think the government can play a role in solving certain social issues, either through like welfare programs or through social justice type initiatives.
Okay.
So the issue there for me is that these things that used to make sense, or that they make sense, have been completely co-opted by authoritarian leftists. Like social justice, a very good thing. Like I mentioned, static shock.
Right.
Trying to build bridges, connect people, help us understand one another is real social justice. What they're doing with these movies is not. It's totally just ruining it.
It's just swinging the pendulum back to the other side.
But it's not even. It's just con artistry. It's authoritarianism.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they're gonna
see
be,
it.
they're gonna be like, if you're thin, then you're an oppressor. Like, what are you talking about? That's not solving anything for anybody. It's not social justice.
Right. Yeah.
So now social justice doesn't even mean anything anymore. But that was what it was. So basically, that's the reason why I always say I'm a liberal. I'm not a libertarian. Like, I'm on the libertarian spectrum, leaning to the left.
Yeah.
But it's basically like, I do not think you should be allowed to sell drugs to children.
A libertarian?
Well, liberal is in the spectrum, in the libertarian spectrum, but it leans slightly more towards authority.
I know. I was just smashing
Yeah.
them together.
Yeah,
You didn't see what I did there?
Yeah.
I did a thing.
What was
So-
it Sargon calls it?
Liberalist.
Liberalist. Yeah.
Liberalist.
So it's kind of like liberal.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Liberalist.
Classical liberal is the live and let live, and it does overlap a lot with what we used to think liberals were in like the 90s.
Okay.
But they're not there anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now like liberal are weird intersectional socialists. Like, it doesn't even mean anything anymore, unless they're like voting for Biden. But those people have no principles anyway. So
Right.
I don't know what they're doing. Where were we? East Shore says, Tim, how large of a landslide are you predicting? Also, I work for a nursing home as an EVS manager. My staff and I are working hard for our residents, but it's a struggle since I lost 6 out of 11 staff last week due to COVID-19. Man,
man.
sorry to hear.
Yeah, that sucks.
I hate predicting anything. In 2018, I was like, man, the Republicans are going to sweep. They're going to have a supermajority. And then the Democrats won the House. And I was like, wow, talk about being wrong.
Yeah.
I was way off. So I have no idea. I joked earlier on Twitter that Trump already won the general election.
Yeah, that was
because like
funny.
Biden, come on, man. But hey, they laughed at Trump. They were all laughing, well, like, Trump will never win. Can you believe it? Hillary Clinton had a 99% chance, according to the New York Times.
Wow, really?
then-
99%.
Yeah, some ridiculously high. I think it was like 93 or like 89 or something.
Yeah.
And then they had this meter that went like back and forth, and it said Hillary Clinton's chances to win 99% or whatever, and it was like hitting the end. And then throughout the night, it slowly started moving over. And then I remember when I got to 50%, and I was like sitting there like, what is happening? I was at the Sputnik headquarters, the Russian like funded news outlet with Cassandra Fairbanks, who at the time was a big Trump supporter. And she was like, everyone in the office was like a Clinton supporter, and they were all very proud of themselves, laughing like, oh, Trump's going to lose. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there like, I don't care, man. Like, people need to grow up. And then the meter started shifting for Trump. Cassandra's like laughing in tears, like, I can't believe this is happening. And I was laughing as I was like, it's just the funniest thing ever. And then when it flipped over and it was like, Trump is basically the favorite to win, it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
It was like comeuppance for these really elitists who thought they were smarter and better than everybody, who deserved everything. And then they just got, kicked straight in the nuts. And it was like, I don't know, schadenfreude, or however you say it.
So, I mean, people are laughing at Biden, so you're saying you think there's still a chance?
I think people would be very, very unwise to underestimate Joe Biden. Okay. Look, he gets on TV and he mumbles and he's like, digital mumble, and people are like, what an idiot, he's so dumb. And then when he wins, they're going to be like, I can't believe he won.
Yeah.
No one could believe it when Trump won for all these reasons.
That's true.
Biden could win. He's polling above Trump.
He is.
I don't believe it.
Right.
I don't care what they say. But I also don't really consider myself to have much skin in the game. I mean,
I agree.
As much as like the weird
That's
woke,
where I'm at.
well, you know what the weird woke lefties will say to you?
What?
They're going to be like, that's because you're a white male.
Oh,
You don't
sure.
understand that marginalized people. It's like blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
I get it. Dude, we're gonna keep moving
Oh,
on.
man.
Nothing's gonna change that dramatically. Grow up, solve your own problems. And if Trump wins or doesn't win re-election, I'm gonna be like, we'll have to navigate these waters.
Yep.
But I think the one thing that will absolutely cause Trump to lose, hubris. All these Trump supporters laughing, thinking they won. I don't think they.
I don't think that's happening because he's been like rallying and going around and people.
And voter turnout is ridiculously up, like double digit. Like it's like literally 100% increase in some areas over. But Trump's the incumbent, so it's like in the primary, it's not super important to go out and vote.
Okay, that's a good.
But he's
point.
doubling the numbers of like Obama and Bush. Yeah, so his fans really want to come out and vote for him.
Yeah.
But so that's the thing. If they get complacent and come November, they're like, Trump's going to win. I don't need to go out and vote. Then Trump loses.
It's a good
I
point.
don't see that happening though.
I don't see
I
that.
think
That's not their attitude.
No, I think the attitude of a lot of these people is like, I want to prove it. Like there was a story of a dude whose buddy put a Trump sign in his yard as a joke to like, because he didn't like Trump.
Oh, okay.
And so he like snuck in there one day and put a Trump sign in his yard. The city came to the guy's house and said, remove the sign. And he was like, what sign? Oh, what? Wait, what? And his buddy was like, I put it there. And then he was like,
But the city told them to take it down
because there's like a sign law. And he was like, I'm not taking it down. And they were like, you have to under the law. And he was like, you can't tell me what to do. So then he put up a ton of Trump flags all over his yard. And he told the press, he's like, I don't even like the guy, but you try and tell me what to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think about a lot of Trump's base is that a lot of them feel like the media has been kicking them so hard and insulting them.
Yeah.
And that these elitists like the Biden corporate Democrats have been such just like demeaning snide.
It's these ego battles, man.
Well, look, man, Michael Moore said it best. He said in 2016, these people, the downtrodden, Joe Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Blow, all the Blows are going to go down to the voting booth and give the biggest FU in the history of the world to the establishments who sold them out and everything and elect Donald Trump.
Yep.
Will
Now
feel
he was
good.
Now the rest of the quote is wrong. He goes, and it'll feel good for a day, maybe a week or a month. And then just like the people of England who voted for Brexit, they will regret it. Now, here's the funny thing. The people of Britain did not regret it.
Do not
They
regret
voted
that.
3 years later overwhelmingly for Brexit again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Fairly confident Donald Trump is going to landslide.
No.
But to answer your question, yeah, let's read some more.
Way to bring it around.
Yeah. Johnny Deerfist says, Rusty Cage is the Rat King. Glad to hear it. Psychnosis says, socialism equals rope. Democratic socialism equals gang rope. No, you know what I like? There's a meme where it's like socialism, and it shows someone putting people up against a wall. And then it says democratic socialism, and they put party hats and like confetti on everybody. And I'm like, it's the same
picture.
photo.
Same
Right,
thing.
same photo. Yeah. Spider-Man says, why couldn't senators vote for the stimulus bill where that we're quarantined? It's 2020. We have video chat now. Enjoy your content. Been watching for a year. I mean, we'll see the digitization of politics soon.
Yeah, that's interesting. Someone was ragging on Trump like the other day about vote. Like, why shouldn't we, vote in the mail? Why can't we vote in the mail? And he's like, well, because it can be fraudulent. It's like easily swayed. And they're like, well, didn't you vote in the mail for the Florida primary? And he's like, yeah, I'm the president.
But it's not even.
Ooh.
That's the most obvious thing.
I know.
It's like,
Right.
well,
You-
sure, he's going to fly down to Florida. I mean, he
Right.
could. But then they'd complain that he just flew down to Florida just
Exactly.
to vote. It's like,
but the other thing too is this is what the media does. They don't tell people the difference between absentee ballots, which are vote by mail, and there's a certification process, and completely opening up every single vote to the same process.
Yeah.
I feel like we begrudgingly accept we have absentee ballots to do our best to make sure people have the opportunity to vote.
right.
But we want a secure voting system. So if we just mail out all the ballots, what happens if someone steals mine? And that'll happen
That's a good point.
because it's kind of it's
And
pop-
changes your vote.
You know what, man? I'm sorry to these people who want to keep changing the rules, but it seems like the only argument they have is change the rules.
Yeah.
It doesn't fly for me.
That's not
It's like,
an
listen, we
argument.
all know what the rules are. If you want to vote, you go vote. If you don't want to vote, well, then don't vote. And people don't vote. Well, it's too bad.
Yep.
You know where, like, I know where I go vote, and I walk in, and I know what the rules are. And there are places that you don't even need, it doesn't make sense, the voter ID thing. Why is it if you want to go to the movies, you need an ID? And if you want to vote, you don't? It makes
Somehow that's
literally no sense.
discriminatory. I don't know.
It's baffling. There's no real reason. No idea. All right, let's see. Ryan North says, I got your hey. Yo, listen what I say. Oh, all right. Wolf and Coyote says, hey, Tim, keep up the good work. What is your opinion of graphene technology? Heard they are finally starting to use it for batteries now that the production costs have gone way down. I am excited for graphene. We'll see what happens.
Graphene's cool.
And they can make it out of anything. It's great.
Geo says, why hasn't anyone tried to sell guns to the primate gangs yet? Well, because they don't have money. Perhaps they could give you a nut of some sort or maybe a shiny rock. David says, democratic socialism was always a sham. Hitler was elected. You could say he was a democratic nationalist socialist workers' party leader. Yeah, exactly. You says, how does Soy Jesus have less than 500 subs on YouTube? Because you guys didn't subscribe to Soy Jesus' YouTube.
You know what?
Come on, y'all.
Someone, every so often someone calls me a Chad, and it's like the last part, the driven part, it's kind of, it's hazy because I'm driven to make myself comfortable and to make myself happy. And I don't, like the amount of subs that I have on my channel, it has nothing to do with that. There's no correlation. So I don't push my channel very strongly. Some people have told me I should more. I love my life. I love where I'm at. I love what I do, and I'm happy. So I think that's really it. Yeah. But thank you.
What he's saying is you guys have to
appreciate that.
subscribe to his channel.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
I'm getting.
I mean, sure, subscribe, and I don't post that much. So, but I would like to post some skate videos, some music videos.
I just did a scratch track for a song we're working on today.
Yeah.
So here's some good news for all y'all looking for work. I am looking for an animator. Yes.
Oh,
I need an animator.
it's true. He needs an animator.
So I have a bunch of songs I'm working on. We just did the first scratch for a song about war and conflict.
It's a good song.
So if you're somebody who wants to help animate a very brutal, serious song, I'm looking for someone to animate. So hit me up.
Yeah.
But gritty, sketchy, murder, death, explosions, but not over the top explosions. More political than anything.
It's a good song.
Political military revolution style.
Well, a bunch of people are now asking what my where I'm at. You can just type my name in YouTube. That's actually my YouTube name. So it's pretty easy to find me.
And you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
And
our names above us.
and Twitter and Instagram. Sure.
And also hit that like button if you haven't.
That's right.
And share
Let's read some more of these super
if you
chats.
want to.
Clint Flippo says, just want to say I have been really enjoying the show. It is way more chill than other social political podcasts, and sometimes, especially now, people need that. Stay safe, everyone. Will do.
Thank you.
John, thanks for the super chat.
And thank you.
Sandwich says, the original idea behind malls was exactly what Adam just described. They became what they are due to incentives for developers that essentially made them ideal tax havens.
Interesting.
Wow.
Let's bring it back.
Fearless Soldier says, question for Adam. What are your thoughts on PETA?
PETA. I like some of the things they do, and I dislike some of the things they do.
Didn't they steal dogs?
Yeah, they're not the best company, but they pick and choose their battles, which I don't like. They like to save face a lot and
Play politics instead of actually.
they do play politics.
Welcome to the.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. I'm not about that. I'm very firm in what I believe, and when I don't see them doing that, they're like, we're not going to touch that. But we're going to go gung ho on this. I don't have any specific examples, but
wasn't the president diabetic taking insulin, which was pig insulin? There was a story about that a while ago.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's true. I don't want to impugn the honor of these activists, but what you'll find with a lot of these nonprofits, having been somebody who's I've personally worked for a lot of them. Oh yeah, man, the playing politics is always about saving face.
Seriously,
you'll have a politically inconvenient, spectacle, and they're going to be like, well, actually, the perfect example, Time's Up.
Okay.
Tara Reid accuses Joe Biden. She goes to the Time's Up organization, which is basically the Me Too, and they're like, well, because Joe Biden's running for president, we can't actually help you. Oh, The accusations are only good. Oh, but Brett Kavanaugh. Well, yeah. You see how the game is played. I don't like any of these.
Yeah, exactly.
These groups.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Kevin says, "Hola, si senor, hold your wallet." Ghost Crusader says, "Inspire brands, Arby's, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Sonic are planning to pay half of the rent for May, June, July, and August." We'll see how it goes. Bruce Matthews, thanks for that hefty super chat.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And let's see, where are we now? We just got a big jump. Buick says, most property management companies are waiving late fees and offering rent deferral plans over multiple months. These rent payments numbers for April are as real as China's reporting. Interesting. Wolf and Coyote says, which is the bigger contributor? Wages with little movement for 20, 30-ish years and things getting more and more expensive, or kids being raised on luxury and easy life and thinking that should be the starting point when their parents started lower. It's funny that we hear a lot that we're the first generation to have it worse than our parents. I've heard that so much during Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
So I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, and his parents came over from Hungary when it was under, I believe they came over from some communist country, and he was talking about how they never, ever, ever complained. And he was talking about how people need a little bit of perspective because we live in the best time we've ever had.
Exactly.
Louis C.K.
That's what we were
said that.
saying earlier about like
Yeah.
the people coming here, they see what we've got. They're like, wow,
Right.
America. Look
Yeah.
at
Exactly.
look
That's
at
why
America.
they still want to come here.
And then the
Right.
people here are like, huh,
Meh.
what? This is normal.
better.
I'm bored. I'm bored now with my life. And it's like,
Err.
what?
Yeah.
Look how good you have it. You have no idea.
They need some perspective.
Yes, they do.
All right, we are going to have to speed up once again, so if we don't get to your super chats, I do apologize, but I do the best I can, sorry. Seven Killer says, hey, Tim, I do remodeling for apartments, and there is so much that goes into it. People who say landlord isn't a job doesn't understand how much has to be done to maintain buildings.
Yep.
Our last job was $5K plus. Definitely, anybody who owns a home
Yeah, exactly.
knows, like, dude, you do
Things
not.
are expensive.
But it's not just that. Dealing with neighbors, dealing with taxes, dealing with infrastructure stuff.
All the
It's,
laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
can I do this? Can I do that? I can't do this. Why can't I do this?
Yep.
You know what? Adam Krigler for president, says Joe Black.
Woohoo.
Oh, man, there's an
Whoa.
endorsement.
Whoa.
This person's name is Epstein Didn't Kill Himself,
Oh.
saying, I'm still expecting to see y'all assemble a paranormal investigation team. Call it Beanie Gang.
Let's do it.
And we need to get a dog.
I would so be down.
The Beanie Mysteries.
Speaking of my YouTube channel, I actually go deep into this old like 1906 mortar base, and it's pitch black. It was like iron gate, but these rangers opened it. I was actually doing a photo shoot, and they were like taking pictures of us, and they left it open as they left, and I'm like, I'm going in there, and I went deep into this base, and I was recording, and people have commented on it, but I swear a ghost laughs at me. And then you can hear in the white noise as I pass through this doorway a woman screaming. It's crazy.
Creepy stuff.
I did not hear it when I was there. And if I did, I would have not gone as deep as I have gone.
You turned right around.
I went
Yeah.
deep into that place. It was
Yeah,
creepy.
man.
But I'd love to do that more. Anyway, go.
Serendipitous Lee says, what are your top couple Muse songs? I love Uprising and Thought Contagion. Love the show,
song.
too. Been watching since the first night. Such a great trinity. I adore hearing the Holy Ghost speak. She has the most soothing voice.
Oh, thanks.
Top Muse songs. Oh, man. There are too many that are good. They're all good.
There's
Just
so
all of them.
good.
Every single
So
one.
many.
Muscle Museum, I really, really like. City of Delusion. The obvious classics like Hysteria, Knights of Sidonia, they're
Yeah.
all good. Thought Contagion, their newer stuff.
Thought Contagion's good.
Pressure.
Dig down.
Dig Down,
I like that one.
Time is Running Out, Falling Away with You.
There's so many good Muse
Dude,
songs.
I know.
The
I can
Muse
play
is
so many.
So good.
I can play so many on the guitar, but I
Man,
really
yeah.
like City of Delusion right now, and Muscle Museum is definitely always one of my go-tos.
Word.
I love Muscle Museum. On the guitar, I love playing Hysteria.
Yeah, you're
I
good
love
at it.
I
too.
love playing the bass riff. All right, let's see what we got here. Church FTC says, "Yo, Tim, I'm an animator. Where should I message you? If you're an animator." And this is the challenge because I'm going to get 50 million emails, and I apologize. I'll try to get to who I can. But you can email me at tim@timcast.com. And I'm looking for an animator. So make sure you send me some videos, examples of your work. And hopefully, I can't get to everybody, obviously, because I always get like 1,000 emails whenever I put a shout out.
Yeah.
But we've got some music being recorded. And I'm gonna go full into this song I'm recording. It's about... Maybe should I say what it's about, basically?
Yeah, why not?
It's basically a song that describes the cycle of revolution where The first verse is basically the dictator who thinks he's justified executing rebels, which leads to, after he kills these like activists, their kid is hiding under the bed, and then the kid grows up and becomes the rebel who overthrows the government. And then the last segment is that rebel now, that kid is an adult, and he puts on the dictator's hat and then goes and kills activists, and there's a kid hiding under the bed, and the cycle just keeps churning of people thinking they're justified in overthrowing because their way of life is always better.
I love it.
Yep.
It's a good song. It's
Super cool.
It's good. Gets in my head.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get it done.
Yep.
Andrew Simmons says, I find this show and your other content as a representation of what is good debate. Extremism is the true evil of society. Tim and Adam have their views, but don't try to force them on others. This is how society should work.
Agreed.
I think it's fascinating. I just kind of like sit here and talk about what I think, and I'm like, hey man, you do you.
Exactly.
I'm
gonna do me.
With that being said, let's talk about what it means to be a real tough man.
That's a
Yeah.
good
But
segue. Good
Great
segue.
segue.
Yeah, this one. I don't know. You want to take it away? This was.
Yeah, I guess sure. Yeah, it's the title here. It's fake toughness versus the real thing. People who are really tough rarely feel the need to show it. So let's get into that. So let's say an observation: the strongest men I know, guys who deadlift over 500 pounds, run 4-minute for the mile, run a discus hundreds of feet, or run ultra marathons, tend to be caring, considerate, and generally calm dudes. The guys I know who want to be strong and tough, but who are not, tend to be loud, defensive, and overly proud. Seems pretty accurate, right? So it says, toughness isn't walking around with your chest puffed out trying to intimidate. It's making the right decision under uncertainty and distress.
So let me interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know the reset the clock hashtag, the meme?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I'm going straight for the throat
Do
on this
it.
one.
What is it? I don't know.
So it's a meme that represents the how many days it's been since a male feminist assaulted a woman.
Oh, okay.
And this actually, so I'm going right for it. It plays right into this, that I'm thinking about a regular guy
Okay.
who is not interested in these like screechy woke feminist types. He's calm. He's rational. He
Yep.
knows he's good at what he's confident. He can run a 4-minute mile. He can throw a discus hundreds of feet. And he's not interested in playing these weird games pandering to some woman who's screeching in his face.
Exactly.
But the male feminists,
That's it.
they're the chest puffing white knights.
They need to prove something.
Yep.
They got to
Yeah.
show what they've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so there's the quote: toughness isn't walking around with your chest puffed out, trying to intimidate. It's making the right decision under uncertainty and distress. Strength isn't yelling and shouting. It's having the inner resources to navigate storms.
I like that a lot.
Here, look at this. They actually break it down. Now more than ever, it seems we are in desperate need of new masculinity. Just imagine if we started to raise our sons with the following core values. I'm going to read through them first before I describe them.
Yeah.
Wisdom, real toughness, vulnerability, humility, authentic self-security.
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah. Wisdom, allowing yourself to be open to and shaped by experience, not being scared of change and not being scared to change.
Wonderful.
Real toughness, composure, clear-headedness, and stability in the midst of uncertainty, not to be confused with machismo, acts of strength. Now hold on. Weren't we just told by the American psychologist or whatever that
APA, yeah.
APA that stoicism is like a mental disorder or something?
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
Oh my God.
Being calm and clear-headed, rational is considered toxic.
Now hold on. Now the writer actually was talking about guys, but I don't even know if this is necessarily about men in general, because this can apply to women also.
Right.
You know, it's like you can be a tough human, you know, and a weak human, and these still apply, you know, to across the board. You know,
Totally.
don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at this, real vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Putting yourself out there, all of it, even and perhaps especially the imperfections and flaws that make you human. I totally respect that.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I think people have been saying good things about me, because I'll be like, oh man, I was totally wrong about 2018. I got no excuse for that.
Yep.
What am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to pretend like I'm invincible?
Yeah.
I'm always right? That's ridiculous.
Or ignore it.
How many people do?
Yeah.
You know what really bugs me? There are some progressives on YouTube I talk to all the time, and I've reached out to one with like, hey, man, I think you got this one wrong, and they refuse to accept it, refuse to admit it, just ignore it. I absolutely, like, I get messages, and they're like, hey, Tim, I think you're wrong about this. I'll be like, oh, was I? And I'll go in immediately and be like, hey, update, correction, I may have been wrong about this.
Yeah.
I really don't see the issue with accepting that you're not perfect.
I don't get it either.
But it's the fake tough guys who think
Yep.
they're always right.
Mm-hmm. They have something to
Humility,
prove, yeah.
which brings me to
Ooh.
humility.
Humility, yep, exactly.
Knowing what you don't know, which for almost all of us is the vast majority of everything. Exactly. Understanding that your view of the world is merely one of billions, being curious instead of narrow, open instead of closed. You know what the problem is? All of these things have been described as toxic masculinity.
All of them,
dude.
you're right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They want. I had that. Who was the guy here? Who's the doctor?
Sean Smith.
Sean Smith.
Yeah.
Great
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
And it's like he was talking about the importance of stoicism and being calm and clear-headed. Like if you're driving in your car with your wife and your kids and you crash and you've got to like get out and fix the car,
Right.
you have to be calm. You can't break down. You've got to make sure that you can be a good leader so that your family is also not freaking out and they're calm.
Exactly.
But imagine what they want for you. Like when they say it's toxic masculinity, they want the husband and the wife to start crying and doing nothing. The men must emote more.
Then he would just be sympathizing with his wife, I guess. I guess that's what they're going for.
Pander.
Yeah.
Pander to the woman. Tell her whatever she wants to hear.
Oh,
Is that-
dude. It's not a good strategy.
It doesn't sound appealing to be around any
No.
person like that, man or woman.
No.
I think the big issue here actually is we get to the root of this, and the real issue is don't be plastic. Like be a real person.
yeah.
Just be chill.
Yeah.
Don't pretend. Don't make things up. Say what you say. Say what you mean. Mean what you say.
And some people show that side of themselves and very quickly revert to plastic.
Yeah, it's
Right.
challenging.
Yeah, it is. It's like, there's people get triggered or uncomfortable or embarrassed and instantly, try to, squash it instead of like, really exploring it. Really. It's like, what is going through my brain right now? What is happening?
gotta-
Asking that about themselves.
You got to
It's
learn to let it
important.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many.
Maybe not even just let it go, but understand it. You
Yes.
got to learn to understand it.
Understand
If something's
yourself.
happening, you should delve into that more, and try to figure out what's going on.
Well, check this out. This is an interesting. This is a report, I guess, from the American Council of Science and Health.
Oh.
Testosterone may make men more honest. This is really interesting. They say testosterone does a lot of different things for men. It masculinizes the body, boosts the sex drive, and contributes to hair loss. Now researchers think it may also make men more honest. In recent years, there has been an interest in determining how our hormones affect our economic behavior, such as gambling and financial risk taking. The financial industry is dominated by men. And if testosterone influences decision making, this potentially has a profound implication for the national economy. Paradoxically, testosterone promotes pro-social behaviors in some circumstances and anti-social behaviors in others. The reason for this aren't entirely clear, but it may involve a man's desire to increase his social status. Previous research shows that testosterone may actually make a man a fairer negotiator. To investigate the phenomena further, a team of researchers administered testosterone gels to 124 college-age male volunteers and placebo gels to 118. They were then given a die and told to roll it. And whatever number came up was the amount of money they were to receive for participating in the experiment. Because they rolled the die in private, they could cheat by reporting a higher value than they actually rolled. The authors hypothesized that the testosterone group would be more honest. The results showed that both groups cheated, but the placebo group cheated more, which was consistent with the team's hypothesis.
Interesting.
Whoa. Back to the male feminists. Low testosterone guys lying to women to try and get laid. Why am I not
That
surprised?
is really interesting.
It's a weird thing.
Fake toughness, no testosterone.
Lying and cheating behind the scenes.
Yeah.
These people are made for each other. But what can a guy do to, I guess, boost their testosterone if they are a soy boy?
You got to
You
work
know?
out.
Not a soy bro.
Yeah.
Got to work out.
Yeah. I guess
Exercise,
help.
driven, experience.
Yeah.
Find role models that you want to be
I think about the Try guys, the BuzzFeed dudes who took the testosterone test, and they were like 30% of average testosterone, some ridiculously low
Yeah,
number.
Super low.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of data here that I'm not going to, get into, but they show like the results of what people were rolling. And I guess they determined that people were cheating because the proportions made no sense based on so if you roll the die a certain number of times, you should expect a certain percentage of results, but they were skewing high, meaning people were giving
Right.
higher numbers so they can get
Yeah.
paid more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They say the fact that two different studies arrived at the same conclusion, that testosterone appears to make men more honest, suggests the effect is real. However, the failure of the current study, which was far larger than the previous study to find its own significant result, further suggests the testosterone effect on honesty is rather small. Well, in the long run, I think it's kind of obvious. You know, if that was the correlation, I'm not entirely sure, but it's obvious that guys who are sure of themselves, who are confident,
Exactly.
have no reason to lie.
Right. They know what they're doing. They know what their path is. They're comfortable. You know, it's like if you're comfortable, when you lie, you have to remember that, and it changes. You know, and then it adds an uncomfortableness to whatever environment you're in. You know, so if you are telling the truth, it's really simple. It's really easy.
But I also wonder if it has something to do with how much you care. Right? There's kind of a catch-22 where when I don't know in what whatever. Let me start over. When talking about young guys who are trying to hook up with women,
Okay.
they say that desperate guys never stand a chance, right? Because they come on too strong. They're very obviously desperate. But then you end up with a dude who's never gotten laid, becoming more and more increasingly desperate and awkward, whereas the dudes who get laid very easily become less desperate and they don't care. So now you have a bunch of guys who are aloof and confident, like, I can get whatever I want whenever I want, I don't care. And so now it's more attractive that they're aloof and kind of on their own, whereas the desperate guys increasingly, struggle with it. So it's kind of like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is dudes who are confident and tough and high testosterone don't need to try as hard. It's just, it's coming to them naturally, which also makes them more confident and more successful. It's kind of like there's two paths. And if you fall into the depreciative path, if you're going negative, it's going to be worse until you can course correct and get out of that pitfall.
Yeah, if you ever can.
Yeah.
If you ever can. You might end up as one of these predatory male feminists pretending to actually care about stupid causes that no one actually cares about because you're a liar just desperately trying to get laid.
Yep.
It's almost like a feedback loop. If you can't do it, you're going to feel like a failure. If you feel like a failure, you'll never be appealing, and then you'll never manage.
Yep,
So.
exactly.
And then you'll
No.
find out that you ended up as a male feminist.
Ugh.
And like, who would want to be one of these people in a room full of people that they're making fun of you, and you're just like, yeah, like it's if these guys who are sitting in rooms and the women are like, men are awful, and the male feminist goes, aren't they? Why would you sit there and take that?
Yeah.
Defend yourself.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
think they respect you when you sit there and do that?
I don't get it.
It's not honest.
Nope, it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like,
some of
do
these
you not even enjoy living? Do
Yeah.
you not enjoy yourself?
It's something you can't change.
Some people
Flagellation.
don't. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like make light on that, but it's sad.
Yeah.
Well, what can you say, man?
Yep.
Well, how about we hop over to the last few super chats? We'll start to wrap this up.
We will do that.
For those that have been hanging out, thanks so much. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and follow us at Timcast at Adam Krigler on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and whatever. And we're gonna jump through the last few super chats here. North Strider says, "What if Biden chooses Tulsi as his VP?" I'm not voting for Biden. Isn't it? Well, that's interesting. I'm not trying to be mean or
If he
anything,
picks
but
Tulsi,
I'm not confident that Biden is long for this world.
where did you hear? You said he was going to pick Kamala
Yeah,
Harris.
I heard something about Ms. Harris being mulled.
Was that like official
Just a
or
rumor.
no? Okay.
Just a rumor.
I got to be honest. At this point, I wouldn't vote for him no matter what.
Yeah,
like-
how can you in good conscience?
He could make.
I gotta
me the
hear.
VP.
I gotta hear clear sentences from someone I'm going to vote for.
Exactly.
Right.
I gotta understand what you're saying.
That's not asking
That's a
too
pretty
much.
sure line I won't cross.
It's-
If I can't understand what you're saying and no one around me can either,
but
so
the-
it's not me,
but
it's
the i-
you.
the
It's
i-
like, all right, dude, I'm not voting for it.
But the idea is he's not long for this world.
I get that.
So his VP will be president.
I know
Yeah.
exactly.
Ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I'm not going near it. Michael Gaitis says, "Please go on Shapiro Sunday special. If I was invited, I'd love to do it." Aaron Bouchard says, "Here in Maine, we have ranked choice voting. Help. Is it not working? I mean, most people have praised it." Church FTC says, "Yo, Tim, I'm an animator." Oh, yeah, we did address that. Yeah, hit me up. Let's see. Where are we at? Yogi Fish says, "Occupy is still alive. Look forward to you interviewing Matthew Ty. Keep occupying the media, Tim." Sure. Filmolosophy says, "Drinking bourbon. Love you guys. No idea what you're streaming, but I'm glad it's on. Heard something about simps and just want you to keep doing what you're doing." There you go. There's the word for it. Mr. Phil says, "Hey Tim, where did you get the UFO and how much was it?" I saw an ad on Instagram for it, and I don't remember. It took like 2 months to get here. So Google search UFO levitating lamp, and you should be able to find
You
it.
will find it.
Yep.
Rebecca Ann says, "I think if you replaced toughness with leadership in that article, it would still be accurate." Absolutely. And it could apply to men or women.
Interesting. Yeah.
JKT says, "Nice to catch you guys live. Up playing some old Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage with
Wow.
my kid. Cool.
Classic.
Her being out of school has been the best thing ever." Glad to hear that. Sounds
That's
awesome.
cool. Yeah. That's
Brian
nice.
Levin, thanks for the super chat. Dan Rowland says, your main channel video from Monday is your magnus opus so far. I've linked it in several fake news video comment sections. Appreciate it. I don't remember which one that was, but I'll go look in a second.
Nice.
Marty McGill says, stay safe up there. Not much virus in North GA. Cheers.
Good to hear.
J-Man says, feminism/communism only brings government into your home. Well, I don't like that. But
Same.
we will wrap up there. So one last time, hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe, notification bell.
Yeah.
We put the full unlisted. So these videos, the raw podcasts will be unlisted, but you can find them on all podcast platforms, iTunes and Spotify and all that good stuff. But we do the show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. We put up clips from the show periodically throughout the day. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and make sure to follow us again at Timcast at @mkrigler, and we will see you all tomorrow at 8.
And Sour Patch Lids.
And Sour
Yes,
Patch Lids
on Twitter. Yep, correct.
and that's a Y in lids.
LYDS,
We'll get
yes.
we should get we'll get a thing for you.
Yeah, we'll
no
go
worries.
thing.
All right.
See everybody tomorrow.
Have a
Thanks,
good night,
guys.
everyone.